last screenshot we see, we're just going to see something similar once again. It goes back to the Lycan draft where they play against Morphling. Their win condition is the Shadow Fiend. They pick a lot of fast-paced stuff with them. You have the bonus damage coming out from the AC, from the Lycan, the lifesteal from the helm as well, and the damage reduction from the Howl at the same time. And then, so you take this preparation, you then bring this to your team, you talk about it, because you want to make sure that everyone's on the same page. You don't want someone to feel left out in the draft, that they're like, yo, why the hell are we doing this? When everyone else already knows, you want everyone to be on the same page, to feel comfortable. And then with all of this information, you go together, you figure out, we want to pick this first. When they do this, we're ready to do that. And that's how these teams prepare for these matches.
Oh, well, it feels like you've kind of figured out Secret, Kaiser. It'll be interesting to see if VP have that same sort of understanding. But while we have Secret here popping up on our screen, for you, T-Panda, is there a certain player that's really standing out in this Secret lineup?
I think the general lineup of Secret can't no longer be highlighted on just one player. We talked about Nisha quite a bit. We talked about Syats on the Nyx Assassin, how much he's been making stonks for himself. But I think this entire lineup is now unifying under a united banner, basically. So I think that's always a good signal, showing that this team has a lot of unity going on. They understand how to amplify the most out of their teammates. It's no longer, I make the performance and you guys play around me. I think that was some of the issues for most of the teams that have already dropped out from the tournament so far. So Secret in general, looking like a very hot team right now, and rightfully so in the upper bracket.
Yeah, I mean, the newest addition is Resolution as well, and he, for this whole Last Chance Qualifier tournament, has been proving himself time and time again in very specific games. He took almost a whole year break before joining Secret. He had that break after not qualifying for TI-10 last year, which was really unfortunate, and now he finds himself in a position for this Last Chance Qualifiers of one best of three from making it to TI-11. They had to beat T1 to get here in the upper bracket yesterday, and they're going to be coming up against Virtus Pro now, who had to beat Liquid yesterday in the upper brackets. How do you feel about Liquid and how they're shaping up in this tournament?
Virtus Pro, they are doing incredibly well here, and there's a running meme right now where Puppy loses to CIS teams a lot, and I think that's going to go in the favor of VP a little bit. But as far as their draft goes, it's like Ramses, whatever, who cares? Core players, who cares? Who I really want to spotlight is Hakoda, his Disruptor. Has been absolutely insane from game to game. He's got a 71% win rate on it with 7 games, and it's not even just that he has a good win rate. He's like solo carrying games with his Agnes purchase on the Disruptor, having insanely good performances as a position 5, probably the standout position 5 player of the entire tournament so far.
Because you deep dived a lot into Secret and how you feel like they were going to be planning their drafts and their ideas coming into this matchup. But one thing we've seen Virtus Pro be able to prove time and time again is the flexibility in their draft. Even if they played something in Pose 1 before, they can always move it to Pose 5. One, do you think that's going to be their advantage? And two, how do you feel that their ideas around drafting are going to be coming in against Secret?
So I think for Virtus Pro, when I see them play the best is actually when they play up-tempo. They play very fast. They have this Nature's Prophet lineup. They had it like twice already. Yesterday in the last game against Liquid, they had this Luna Visage combination. And I think VP just want to make sure that they get what they want, where they have a solid win condition. They can just play for that. And if they make a few mistakes, that they don't feel like, uh-oh, this game is going out of control. That's what I want them to do. Just make sure that you feel comfortable, you allow yourself a draft where you can make a few mistakes and you can still continue, with the normal ball of the game instead of feeling like, uh-oh, and have the pressure coming.
Yeah. Virtus Pro definitely need to try and build, lanes for themselves, because that is something we've also seen them struggle a little bit with in the past. But Game 1 draft here, the bans coming out, and T-Panda, what are some of the normal Phase 1 picks that we will be seeing from Virtus Pro as they do have first pick?
Well, if you generalize kind of the idea of this morph meta, I think they're very They're very fast to react in the first phase if Morphling is to be first pick from Secret or from them. They've favored the Undying quite often in the first phase. They have 6 picks in total, 4 and 2 currently. It is in the pool, so they might opt to pick it for themselves. And they have the response pick as well from Secret if they decide to go for a combo where they might look. For example, when they've banned this Shadow Fiend themselves, which they've picked quite often, they could opt for the Lina. We had a good theory there with Fear discussing about the intelligence cores going up against the Morphling matchups, which might work out nicely. So if they go for something like a Lina in the first phase, I don't think that would be completely unheard of.
We have that Undying coming out. Sorry, you good, Fear?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty decent versus Undying as well if they do want to go for something like Lina. GPK does like playing it. I'm sure Nisha will play it as well, but it's really just going to be... Oh, we're just going to get the comfort pick here, right? Zayat's getting his Nyx Assassin. I don't know what his win rate is on this, but it's pretty insane, right? Like, he has like 6 or 7 wins? 6 and 1?
Yeah,
jeez, so he's got a really good performance. That hero isn't particularly that good versus Undying, especially not in the laning stage. So like I feel like Team Secret here don't mind like giving up the lane a little bit. I think what Zayats does mainly on this Nyx Assassin, he's just going to pull the waves, kind of be annoying, and try to avoid the laning stage against the Undying here.
Secret's spending a bit of time, especially for them to just end up doing the comfort pick. And Kenzie Batrider.
That's spicy.
This is, so generally we saw a similar opening yesterday from Secret against Undying, where they went Nyx and Leshrac. But, so the reason why I think they didn't go for the Lesh this time around, so what they want in the slot is a core that they feel comfortable with, that they can also throw into more than one lane. I think VP's drafts are generally pretty good against Lesh. They play like a lot of safe lane carries that will make the lane hard for him, so I think they just want the comfort here with Batrider. It's also a very hard hero for, to be fair, a lot of teams to deal with, because he changes the dynamic of the game in most games, unless you respond very well to it.
Yeah, this Batrider is also very frustrating to play against in a 2v2 lane, so if they decide to put it into one of the side lanes, that's something that Virtus.pro might have to acknowledge properly, because we've seen what happens when you're in a game where you lose all 3 lanes. It's a snowball from there. I don't think we have a single game where a comeback would have happened after losing every single lane. So I like that they're bringing up Hakoda again on this Disruptor, like probably the best Disruptor player in this tournament, and isn't that much punished by the Nyx Assassin. Okay, Nyx obviously hurts a lot on this Disruptor, but in generalized gameplay, how you can organize, set up team fights and general control and map vision and whatnot, he has been breaking records with this Disruptor. He is a massive sentry spammer on this guy. He will block all your vision, even if you have a bat and a Nyx in your team.
Morphling being taken out of the pool there. How will we be seeing some of these bans and then potential opening picks play out for you?
I just want to cover quickly on them picking Undying plus Disruptor. Normally you wouldn't want to do that because you want to flex this Undying to your POS 5 and POS 3. But we did see a crazy game, was it versus Extreme Game, where Yamish was playing the POS 4 Undying. And he like got super farmed and was like almost like carry by the end of the game. It was pretty incredible to watch here. So they're a little open here, because I was like, they're going to show their 5 already, and they're going to make sure 3 Undying. I don't know if I like that so much, but they do have some flexibility here. They're also going to have this Undying option as a POS 4 here. So always happy to see Hakoda get his Disruptor here. I think whenever it's in the pool, VP are just going to pick it for him. This man is a beast on the hero.
They've won both games with Undying and Disruptor when they've been picked in the first phase, and also when they've been picked in general inside the draft, so promising start.
Yeah, they cover each other's weaknesses pretty well, right? You know, like a lot of catch in the Disruptor, a lot of team fight in the Undying. Go ahead, Kezu.
Yeah, I think to go back to Nat's question, I was going to say that there's a high chance that you have Chen being banned out. So as Fear just mentioned, you have the team fight from the Undying, you have like the catch from the Disruptor, but the damage output isn't too fast, and to be fair, I feel like Secret, they're gonna need to up their team fight a little bit. So taking out this Chen that overall gives you more team fight, gives you the healing, is very good for Virtus.pro, so they definitely did their homework on that one. As Secret, they need to open up the next phase, and it's most likely gonna be the puppy hero.
Could be. And I also kind of think one thing that I had theorized already before the start of the series is Nisha's building damage. He is probably one of the highest damage dealers to buildings in their team, so he does prioritize heroes in that sense, the Leshraks, the Shadow Fiends, Invokers, Snipers. Batrider isn't one of those, so they can easily flex this Batrider around, which we kind of already touched upon already. But I would like to see what you said, like start to build up in that second phase. Maybe something like, I don't know if Inch goes with the Nyx Assassin that well. The Chen's also banned as well, so maybe they've got something else on their mind.
I think they played the Ench and the Nyx together in the past already this tournament, and it's done somewhat okay. I think it's been 2-1 when they pick them together.
Could work. Ench is still very solid in the laning stage.
It's banned out.
And it's banned out, so for good reason.
You're playing versus Puppey. You ban Shen and Ench, right?
Yes, yes.
Always a safe ban.
They're smart. You don't let them get those.
5 seconds remaining.
I mean, we might see a new Puppey here, but the ones that are still in the pool at the moment that we've seen him play for Last Chance, the Lich, the Bane, the Snap, the Silencer, I think the only ones so far we've seen him play that are still there.
Yeah, so it's definitely difficult to analyze like what teams are going to do now, and that's mainly just because everything's just flex right now. Like, except for the Nyx and the Disruptor, we don't know where this Bat's going to go. Like, they picked it in mind to lane as like the Zayat's Resolution combo, I think, against Undying. Now there's a Disruptor in the pool. Maybe they'll get a chance to see Ramses here a little bit later, and they'll flex the Bat into mid. For Nisha, I know he can play it, even though that might not be what he wants to play. He probably wants to play more of like that carry mid type of role, but he is more than well equipped to play this Batrider mid. I've seen it before. He's very good at it. So they're just going to flex that one and see where it goes. Same with VP here, this Undying. They don't even know where it's going. So like we can't even really tell you where it's going because they don't even know where it's going yet. They need to see a little bit more. I have a feeling it's highly likely Yamich playing it. Because normally the earlier it's picked, the better.
Because about this Undying pick, it's not 2 guys playing it; it's 3 guys playing it. It could be DM who's played 1 game, stomped Infamous with it. It could be Yamich playing the Undying. It could be Hakoda who would decide to pick it up, even if they have the Disruptor in the team already. So it is kind of a waiting game right now. So you usually pick something like a hero that doesn't reveal too much about your cards, and I don't think Witch Doctor is one of those heroes that tells too much about your draft.
I do like it though. It's a hero that I always consider Witch Doctor. I call him like a tank killer. And when you do play this Undying in position 3, you're going to reconsider because the Maledict versus these big, beefy, tanky heroes, very easy target to hit with the Maledict, and it gives you an option to kill them, and he can't be like this big frontlining threat. So that's probably why he picked up the Witch Doctor for himself here, to kind of block the position 3 Undying there.
Yeah, I mean, then Beastmaster coming out. Keza, do you think this one that kind of puts the nail in the coffin then of where the Undying could more likely be going for VP?
Yeah, it's definitely Mr. Yamich who's going to play the Undying and look to chat it up again as he did in the other games. I think one thing to note is that not only did the Chen and Ench, like they were good bans because Secret likely wanted them, but it also made it more likely here for VP to then get their hands on like a Lycan or Beast. Witch Doctor is still like a semi-counter to the summon heroes in the lane and in the game, but I think Beastmaster is very good for VP. I also think that they have stepped up their type of playstyle, which I mentioned before the game, that they may have figured out this train where you want to play a little bit more in tempo and then buff up your win condition. When I see DM play like Doom and Timbersaw, he performs well, but I feel like their lineup never comes together. Whereas instead here, they go for the fast-paced carry with Luna, the offlaner that enables that. And once again, when you're a disruptor, what do you want to play with? Well, you want to play with people that help you in the lane and play fast. So I think VP's draft right now is looking very, very strong.
It's also looking a little scary at the same time, right? Because, like, I could see this lane going one of 2 ways. I could see this Batrider getting, like, 3 or 4 stacks on the Luna, and Luna has, like, no way to save herself from that. Maybe the Glimpse might help in that regard. Or they're just going to keep nuking the Batrider with the Lucent Beams and, whatchamacallit, the Thunder Strike, and then Bat will just have a terrible laning stage. So it's I think it's a little bit of a risky pick for that in that regard. Or we can see VP, they've done in the past. They've gone aggro tri-lane before in multiple games with this Luna and just kind of change the laning stage up. So they definitely have options when they pick this Luna on how they can lane.
5
Well, they got a tri-lane setup that really works for them. Like, Undying is fantastic in 2v2 or, versus 2 or versus 3 heroes in the lane. Disruptor is also a pretty decent support to help you out there, so that could also work out. They haven't played Beastmaster together with Undying before, which is something that I'm looking. They haven't actually really comboed this Beastmaster with anything by the looks of it, so it's got the synergy, yes. I'm just looking for results. How does it work out for them?
So I think here what's important to note, so what Fear was mentioning, and I heavily agree with the Bad Rider, with the matchup, it's a very like volatile lane, the top lane. I think one thing you can do here for Secret is they're also, I mean the Stormband is definitely for Sniper, but it's also in a way indirectly for the higher potential for you to put the bad mid. What Secret could look for here is to pick a Darkseer. It lanes very well with Nyx. You have the wall against Luna, you get also the wall against Beastmaster to steal all the auras, because currently they don't have this type of hero, and that's kind of what I would like for them to look for one way or the other out of their draft.
Is there a chance that for Secret, they still need a carry potentially? Because Nisha does love his sniper.
Yep. And that's also the building hitter that I was kind of hoping them to go for too. That he has somewhere between the Axel of Lesh Sniper, maybe even a Kunkka, but I guess the Sniper fits in nicely here. So what does Crystals want to play? Because he's got 4 games on Razor. There's still his prestigious Monkey King, which is also in the pool. I'm not sure if I like the matchup versus the Luna, but it could work. I don't know if he wants Viper either here. But like, what is a good pick right now for Crystals? Because I feel like everything feels a bit mediocre.
I mean, he could easily play the Sniper versus the Beastmaster. It's a good matchup. They're gonna flex it though to the bitter end here because they have the last pick. If there's something better, you know, for him, they can. Well, basically, he's going to most likely play the Sniper unless there's a pick that shows on VP that allows him to play another hero that counters the Beast, where Nisha really wants to take the Sniper in the mid lane. Otherwise, right now we're going to see Nisha go into the mid lane here with their pick, or as Kezu mentioned, they can always have the option of putting this Bat Rider mid too, right? Versus the Tiny if they want to do that, and pick a new offlane. So they got options here.
I really think that that's the way they should take their draft. It turned out it's a pretty good Bat Rider core game. It's a very good Sniper core game, so what VP tried to do here is just to pick a mid hero with tempo that also gives you the chance to jump him. I think your offlane pick is the way to go here for Secret. You take either Darkseer that solidifies your team fight, or you take some other melee offlaners aren't as easy to play, so I wonder what they're going for, but I would really like the Bad Rider mid option here for them.
Darkseer, that's right. Good call. Solidify the team fight, like you said. And Fear with it now, all coming out for both teams. Are you still in favor of VP? Do you like the tempo that they have, and who do you think is going to be able to execute what they've built playstyle-wise better?
I mean, for me, it's all eyes on Nisha and GPK in the mid lane here, because I think Resolution's laning stage versus a Luna and Disruptor is going to be pretty rough. It should be at least, but it's a good hero for the game, so if they can get carried out of the laning stage just a little bit, I really think Secret should have this game. But there is a chance that the lanes just go really badly, and it could be rough for them.
All right. T-Panda, which lane are you going to be keeping an eye on, and how do you think it's going to play out?
I want to see if this Beastmaster is able to establish himself a good laning stage. I think that's one of the key portions of when do they align with the Beastmaster. Are they able to take down towers early on and establish map pressure? Does he hit his item timings on time? And also, is he going to make a variation with his build? I think this Beast is something that I'm going to be watching a lot.
And last but not least, Kezu, the big brain call and the Darkseer. How's this game going to go?
I think this is quite Secret favored, but once again, Virtus Pro have a high tempo lineup. The way for them to win is to do well in their lanes, as Fear mentioned, which they have the possibility of, but I would prefer to play the Secret draft.
Alrighty, well, I would prefer to just jump straight into this game one of this best of 3. It's Secret VP. The winner will be going to TI 11, and we have Moxie and Waga to walk us through it.
Isang panalo na lang nila, TI na. Swerte. Thank you so much, Nat. This is going to be such an amazing series. I'm super excited for Wagga. We get a bit of some fun picks coming out here. We get a sniper pickup that I don't think we've had the chance to cast just yet. And this is actually the first time I think that we are going to see Crystals play this for this qualifier.
Yeah, Crystal is gonna bring it out. It's a hero that we've seen banned a lot. We haven't necessarily seen it in our series, but excited to see it. I also think it was a nice call that Darkseer was a good hero in this game, but I'm a little bit worried for him because it's not easy against that Disruptor as well. So, like the panel mentioned, that pick works so well for Secret, they still want it, but can be a little bit difficult in laning stage here. So, excited to watch how this one's gonna play out.
So do you also agree that we should be keeping our eyes on this mid lane? Is this where everything's really going to start popping off?
I think the mid lane is definitely going to be super crucial. We've seen GPK set the tempo for a lot of games. On his Primal Beast yesterday, he was absolutely monstrous. So yeah, want to keep an eye closely on GPK for sure and what he's going to be doing. Same with Nisha, of course, on his Batrider.
That is a very high-tempo lineup going out to the side of VP, but also, you know, being able to have that Tiny, being able to have the burst potential, closing the gap, trying to put that pressure on the sniper. So, all eyes over on these tempo-making mids.
A little bit of a win here for Dire as they managed to bully back Secret from the top runes here. Just respecting the Undying. He's so strong, and they don't really want to fight for the runes there, so 3-for-1 for VP, get a little bit of advantage from the start.
Now, I do have a question because we have Zayat's playing his Nyx Assassin. This poor man has only, it feels like he's only played Nyx Assassin. He's also played, you know, some Earth Spirit, a couple others, but, you know, 7 games of it so far. But Nyx, even though he's on the rise, especially in Immortal pubs, he's not the strongest laner. And usually you want to pair him up with something like a Necrophos or an Enigma or something ranged to really, you know, make it through this laning stage more comfortably. Is this going to be all right for him here in this top lane with Rezo?
I think it's going to be fine as long as Rezo can push. I like the move that VP did there, just realizing that they're strong, so they fight before the first creeps meet, just going up and fighting with Undying and Luna, pulling back and getting a little bit of an advantage to the point that already we see Secret, of course, going for the pull. We see a similar thing being done by VP, so both side lanes are trying to get the creeps back behind their tower. And Puppey with the body block.
Oh my goodness, top lane there putting a lot of pressure over here on Rezo. They do have a Mango if they want to try to go for another Decay, but they'll go pop the salve. Not quite. Oh, there it is with the Lucent Beam from Ramses. There will be our first blood.
He just barely couldn't get around the tree line there to get into Fog of War. Luna cooldown just came off in time.
Puppey taking a lot of harass after going underneath the tower, trying to contest some of these pulls here.
Yeah, both teams are just attempting to keep pulling. We see Zayat, of course, on his Nyx going again, just stunning up the Undying and running away with the creeps again. Trying to not have just a fair lane, let's call it, because Luna's last damage is so strong. Iron Shells are not reliable enough for last hitting.
I think this is a nice solution to, you know, they have this double melee lane up against Luna, and again, as we said, this Nyx Assassin, not the strongest of laners, so being able to cut the wave like this, definitely the opportune play. But let's check in with the mid lane, because I saw earlier, GPK was sitting very low. It's hard to go up against a bat here as a melee. Has picked up the magic wand, though, super early, which I think is definitely needed, and is holding his own.
Yeah, he also opted to go boots early so that he's gonna survive. Usually we see mid Tiny go for bottle early, but you get all the mana you need from Magic Wand, and with the boots he stays alive a little bit better against the Sticky Napalm Firefly. So I think this is a really good itemization by GPK.
Let's see the Firefly with the 5 stacks Sticky Napalm, but again, GPK gonna just walk away from Nisha.
For now, not too much gonna happen in terms of like looking for ways to kill each other here, as both teams are playing pretty safe on the safe lane. Luna is free farming quite well. The sniper is also being very protected. Puppey going up and doing some harass. This might actually hurt quite a bit.
Yeah, speaking of the harass here, looks like it's going to force the TP out over with DM, so there is the potential of them trying to make a play on Hakoda if he gets close enough, but definitely feels like he's just going to continue to cut these waves and try to just make it a little bit easier over here for DM, who's eventually going to come back.
That's pretty painful, though. TPing base is not something you want to do in the early game. You have to run all the way back to the lane again, so he's losing some time, presence on the lane, and gives more free farm over to the sniper, of course.
I mean, that's the power of the Witch Doctor. We've seen Insania play a ton of this hero, and just the amount of just harass that you can put out with a Maledict is just so good, especially towards, like, you know, tankier heroes or whatnot, because of that little bit of percentage. But nice rotation here from Secret will ensure that they get those water runes. And Nisha, of course, refilling his bottle.
Yeah. Top lane, Rezo is just trying to be cheeky, get as much farm as he can, but he can always get out. This lane doesn't have great ways to kill a Darkseer since they decided to lane the Undying top instead of a Disruptor. But I think this is just because they felt Undying would get bullied on bottom lane by the double range of Witch Doctor and Sniper.
They'll even go drop the tomb here in the top area.
Yeah, they're dropping it so that they can farm the big camp as well.
It's a good way to interrupt these little bits of pulls that they have going on too. Zayats is making a little bit of rotation. Looks like he's going to go for the stat camp. And I'm curious now, we did see that Puppey made his way over to the mid lane just to help out with the rune control. Are we going to see any sort of rotations coming towards this mid lane, or do you think it's going to be the rotation of the mid?
I certainly think that they're going to move to check these 6-minute runes coming up pretty soon. If Tiny gets a haste rune that's super big, same for Batrider, of course, with a haste would be insane. I mean, in general, any power rune is pretty nice to get, but these are very, very powerful mid heroes when it comes to making rotations. So we do see Hakoda running towards mid already with wards and sentries. Definitely wants to plant a fresh one.
It's been a pretty quiet game despite everything, though. A little bit of a move over in the mid lane, though. Going to put the pressure over on Tanisha. He's got Fireflame. Needs to be careful now. Hakoda on the other side. Gets the glimpse back, though. Should be able to help get this final hit over on Tanisha. Oh, no, they're not going to be able to quite get it.
Tree grab, maybe?
He's trying to get there. He's trying to throw. Oh, he's not going to be able to go and finish off Nisha there. So he's going to have to just be satisfied with killing Puppey, but that is not the kill he wanted. And Nisha, with that Firefly, with the boots, and just being able to fly over trees, is going to survive.
Yeah, he survives, but Puppey just stayed a little bit too long there. Gets picked off by GPK. I think he could have backed out earlier, but probably didn't recognize that both Ava and Toss were coming off cooldown there.
Right, it's not going to be able to quite land that Impale, but does manage to snap up the Arcane rune, so no Arcane for GPK, but is going to put the harass over to Zaya. It's a good spike. Carapace will slow down. Another glimpse, but the hit underneath the tower means that they'll end up getting killed on Hakoda, and GPK also takes just so much harass from the tower and the clicks of the side of Secret.
Hakoda tried a nice play there. He dropped the sentry ward in the tree line under a tower to try and get vision for the glimpse early, but then couldn't quite get the glimpse on Batrider. He wasn't right on top of him. I mean, it's only a very minor amount of vision you get from the sentry drop, but it didn't work out. Got a little bit too close to the tower and goes down in the end.
I mean, every little bit helps for sure, but like you said, doesn't provide that much. So it seems like this mid lane going very, very nicely for the side of Secret, even though VP trying to apply pressure, trying to provide support, but it's just proving to be a little bit difficult for GBK. He still is not, you know, doesn't have any deaths yet, but DM doesn't have a TP here, but the rotation immediately from GPK will toss Crystallis up. Hakoda being able to keep some vision over onto Crystallis. They will eventually get DM because he's taken too much damage from the Maledicted. Eventually they'll get Crystallis. Now Puppey, that Nisha's here. Nisha says, yeah, I'm gonna find this opening on GPK. I'm gonna use my lasso, and that's a lot of Firefly. Need perhaps one more hit. There it is, and now Puppey looks like he is gonna be the next one to die. And Hakoda
well,
chasing, yeah, I mean, he can't get away from this. What a brawl in the bottom lane.
End of the day, Nisha is the only one surviving that, so still works out pretty well for Secret as they're getting more momentum for this Batrider, and I think they need it, because right now, this Luna is farming extremely fast. She's growing faster than Sniper. There's a bit of a disparity here between the two carries, how fast they can switch into jungle and start farming up. And Luna is going to just take to a jungle now. The laning stage is essentially over for her, I think, and can start getting a lot of neutral items for her team as well this way.
We also talked about how a lot of the times you'll see Ramses going for more of like that greedy build, and you can see he's just focused up, wants to hit jungle creeps, wants to continue to use those Moonglaives and the Lunar Blessing for the extra little boost here. So makes sense. It is a little bit slower for a sniper to be able to farm, but still doing all right on both of these heroes.
Yeah, he's getting decent farm, but he will struggle to keep up, and that's going to be the thing that Batrider has as his task. I think him, together with Reso's Darkseer, though, they can surge up the Batrider. They might be able to find some kills on Luna later.
That'll be a lot where Hakoda comes into play, being able to, babysit a little bit, or when they feel like they're going to see those rotations come out, having him in position to slow them down, or be that little bit of latch.
We have that smoke coming top now with the Batrider moving in, so they're trying to play close to Darkseer in the lane and look for anything they can find here. They don't know exactly where the Luna is.
They do have a ward over on the eye spot, but they do know Yamach is nearby. Nisha is going to farm up some of these creeps, and you can see that GPK's over in the mid lane. He's found himself a puppy. Doesn't quite do enough damage though, so he's gonna just walk.
Yeah, the magic stick saves him as well. He stays alive. Gotta watch out for this Tiny with Tumblr's toy. That's a scary one. Can jump close to you. He still wants him.
He still wants him for sure. Yeah, look at this. There's the avalanche, and that's a dead puppy.
Dire structures are fortified.
Okay, Yamach.
So
He's running forward here, Nisha. They have the glimpse. They're going to bring him right back. But there it is. There's the lasso coming out from Nisha. But there's a lot of damage being dumped here. They also have the tombstone, but they'll still manage to get the kill on Yamach. GPK now in for trouble. Taking a lot of damage here from that shrapnel, from the clicks. A good response and rotation to seeing their Batrider get pounced upon.
Fantastic. Really fast TP, and Nisha gets that clutch lasso on the Tiny as he got glimpsed back as well. Because of that, he doesn't immediately die. And combining the stick napalm and the shrapnel, people just can't move. Like, you have no turn rate, you have no move speed. You're just struggling to get out of there.
Yeah, this feels like potentially, like, I understand with the Tiny, the idea of being able to blink into the back lines, trying to, blow up the sniper, but it is a pretty difficult game for him to be able to move half the time. He just feels like he's going to get kited.
Is this a 6 stack on the Ancients? That's a 6 stack that he's gone up to now. They have been stacking Ancients on both sides. Darkseer was farming the Radiant ones a little bit, but look at Luna now. That is actually, I believe, 6, right? Yeah.
It's a big, juicy stack, that's for sure. Coda gonna be able to help make it more efficient for Ramses to take these creeps. All 4 points in those Moonglaives, so they're gonna be bouncing around quite a bit, and that is a huge inflection of cash.
Yeah, Luna starting out farming this at 450 gold. We'll see exactly how much she's gonna get from all this, but this is a lot of cash, and they're rightfully playing in the area now, keeping GPK around as well to shield against any invasion here, because losing this stack would be a game-breaking level impact, so they're protecting it.
And GPK take his own little stack here to the side, but yeah, look at all of this gold. It's gonna make this BKB come online a lot faster.
They
A
want
little bit of a
disruptor.
poke over on Hakoda. GPK is nearby though, so if they go for this play, they'll go for the Witch Doctor and they'll be able to find the kill. But they'll turn back around now. Nisha forced away. Yamach is taking too much damage. He'll kill the Undying. And now GPK is forced back. Does not have the rest of the backup that he needs. They just really don't seem to care about this tombstone either.
Yeah, I was surprised to see even Ramses running over there to try and help whatever he can. He was busy farming the stack, of course, but he went over there attempting to do what he can to help his team. And after finishing that Ancient, that was 1,000 gold that he got from farming the entire Ancient stack. So quite a bit of gold. He has now his Ogre Club coming out, and like you said, he's closer towards that BKB. Still a long ways to go though. One hero that we haven't seen much of is Beastmaster's just farming bottom and having a pretty free game. Okay, with a Blink Dagger.
Do seem to be making this rotation down to the bottom area. They see Zayas, but okay, there's going to be the Batrider teleporting in. Jump forward, the toss into the roar, but there it is, the lasso from Nisha. She'll still be able to get the kill on Zayas. Puppy though coming in, the cast bounces are nice. DM taking so much damage. He's going to end up dying now. GPK is trying to get away. They still have that little bit of vision on him. Not sure here. He's definitely taking those ticks from Maledict quite seriously, but Does have a salve. It's going to be all right as now Hakoda running for his life. They surge up Puppy. Puppy does have a cask, but he's going to back off as well. A little bit of a glimpse back. Looks like they're just kind of
Luna
poking.
wants to fight it. She's too low HP. She doesn't want to engage. They do get the glimpse back, but Luna's like, nah, I'm half HP. I just want to keep hitting my jungle creeps. Secret over and over have good reactions to when someone goes too close under tower. And VP have to be very careful about making these aggressive moves right under the tower because of snipers slow, because of shrapnel, paired up with sticky napalm, and also just the chase ability that Secret have. The surge is really, really good for catching people.
And we did see that the wall of replica did get dropped bottom, so that is something that's going to be on cooldown for a little bit. But I'm sure Secret more than happy to just continue farming, get these items online for Crystallis. Does have the Maelstrom, and we'll be working towards that Dragon Lance. A couple clicks over here to Yamich. Puppy closing in the gap. I don't even know if he's needed here, honestly. All right, you know, he helped.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Yeah, they have really good long-range damage on the side of Secret that's like non-committal in a way, whereas over on VP, they kind of have to get closer and personal, especially with Tiny. Beastmaster as well kind of has to get a little bit close to make moves. I like this move by Secret. They're understanding Luna is getting too much farm in the Ancient area, so they're going in, trying to find her, but she is wisely sitting back. Ramsey's not falling for it.
I'm sure he realizes something's up. He hasn't seen a couple of these heroes in a while, and he was being visible in the bottom lane, so now was the time to back off. And again, I like the way that VP, they've kind of been playing closely together. They've been protecting, they've been stacking. I like to see it, but at the same time, Crystallis has been just hitting creeps. Again, not farming quite as fast as the Luna, but still getting what he needs.
There's that
Oh, the mid lane,
Tiny.
that's a quick pick off on Puppy.
Yeah, they're making good use of the Hawks. When you have vision provided by Beastmaster like this is the reason he can get these pickoffs. He knows he can burst the Witch Doctor anytime he sees him, and now it was pinged out by Witch Doctor vision here, but you can't ever be sure. Is it a ward? Is it a Hawk? And it's really annoying to play against.
Does feel like they're getting... Okay, the jump forward here from GPK. He sees Resolution. The Static Storm's going to get dropped, but looks like Res will be able to walk... Oh, gets dragged right back in again. There's the lasso over onto GPK, plus that wall that we talked about. Bit of a roar over onto Zayats, but not quite enough damage to finish off as they're gonna Delta split now. Cask gets dropped by Puppy. Zayats is so... He was thinking about going for this. Gonna use the dust. Looks like DM's gonna just teleport out. He doesn't want to be here any longer. Yamish, you've already popped the flesh golem, is gonna use that pig pole to get out.
They're getting such
Zayat's
good value
still
from the
hunting.
Iron Shell in this game. They're just putting Iron Shell over on the Batrider, over on the Nyx, and whenever they run close to enemy heroes, like Nyx normally struggles a little bit with having sufficient damage to kill stuff on his own or threaten, but with Iron Shell, he really packs a punch. Again, Ramses with really good read on exactly how close he can play to the farm.
Dire's middle tower is
It's a
under
little
attack.
bit more gold until he's able to get that BKB. It's making good time on it. But again, Secret, just the way that they're moving around the map, the way they're putting down this aggression, and simultaneously letting Crystallis get this farm, it's proving to be a bit of an issue now for them.
Yeah, and they're gonna be the first ones to siege up an offlane tower here. Gonna get the Dire offlane bottom tower. But they're trying to go for the same thing on VP, but just a Batrider is probably sufficient to defend top. I doubt that they can really go push without using Luna.
Yeah, Nisha's having a stellar game right now. 8-0-2. Almost has the BKB completed. He's got those boots to travel online.
Yeah,
This is a very scary bat.
that was, you know, the hero to look at for Team Secret. They need Nisha to have big impact, and he's been really delivering so far, and that's before he gets the BKB. Once he has BKB, it's much more comfortable how you're going to play against Tiny, against Disruptor, even against the possibility of Eclipse. So looking for him to get extra aggressive when he gets that as well. Also, Dark's here now with a Blink Dagger just arriving.
To jump forward, the blink from GPK, trying to blow up Puppy, but there are so many heroes waiting for you. Beautiful vacuum. As they get a couple of these bounces off, they drop the Static Storm. We'll get a glimpse back over onto Resolution. They've got the Eclipse. DM barely going to survive this engagement, and that was a lot of ultis with not much coming out of it. They do manage to get Puppy eventually. DM still alive, but just barely.
That was pretty good, I would say, for Secret still, even though they lost a hero that could have gone way worse. Oh,
all right. They'll finally get Zayas. Do get the Lunar Beam over onto Nisha. It's popping the Firefly. Still has the lasso. So I have to respect that.
GPK is just continuously punishing low HP heroes, getting a little bit too close. They're really putting down the hurt, and it's all based on this Beastmaster providing so much vision in the fights. Now back to split pushing, trying to get more map control. I think VP would be very happy if they could remove that top tower, so they're leaving Beastmaster close to it.
Yeah, you can see in the replay the little bit of a bait there where GPK had jumped forwards, and just the immediate vicious follow-up from both of the teams, dropping the wall, dropping the Static Storm, going for the Eclipse, Roar, everything during that fight, but didn't amount to a whole lot, which means everybody kind of just resetting on both teams because you want to have those
They're evenly
ultimates
matched
available.
bottom. They're looking for a kill with Batrider. He has the BKB, so he wants to chase here. He's not quite gonna get the connection though. Koda, again, good positioning. I know we're mentioning Hakoda to be one of the standout Pulse 5 players this qualifier. He's really played good on this Disruptor this game as well.
I'd say him and Yamich make a pretty awesome duo when they are on like very active heroes. Definitely enjoy watching the two of them. Those have been like my two to watch currently. That and of course the Zephyr Whitemon combo, but unfortunately they're no longer in this.
It feels like Secret now want to take fights because they have Mjolnir completed on Sniper, so their DPS is quite high, and they're gonna smoke up. They're probably gonna bring Sniper into this as well.
I mean, there's a double damage on Luna, too, so it feels like if they decide, and look at the way that they're playing, or rather, Luna playing a little bit closely to the rest of her team in case these fights break off. So there's going to be the blink into the back lines from GPK, sees Puppey, wants to try to punish him, but Puppey is absolutely going to be fine as they turn it back around, get the kill on GPK. Nisha did pop the BKB during this. Was looking for a pickoff, and they drop the wall over to the side, but not going to be able to get anything beyond what they have so far.
That's completely fine. I mean, they're gonna kill on a mid laner. They're not chasing for more. Surge.
Yeah, Koda here. There it is. There's the Eclipse. They're chasing after Nisha because they managed to get the kill on Hakoda over on the back lines. A couple of these cask bounces now. They'll still be able to finish Nisha. That physical damage of that Death Ward over onto Ramses is a little scary, but he's got the BKB, so they can't lock him down. Still sitting quite low, though. I don't feel like he wants to defend this at this point.
No, mid tower is gonna go down for VP, but look at Ramses. He has only been part of 2 kills, but he just got his second kill right there, connecting the Lucent Beam to bring down Nisha for 764 gold injection to this Luna again. So she is still looking like the most farmed hero on the map.
Do get that replay. So you see GPK jumping into the back line on Puppey. Static Storm, but again, we have the BKB on Nisha as he's chasing after Luna. Not going to be able to quite close that gap, as we said.
Yeah, it was a good disengage there by most of VP, but they got a little bit too caught out by their Tiny. I think he didn't really have Luna close enough to make that committed of a play.
I do feel like that's a little bit difficult, though, right? So you have this Tiny who's going to be your main initiator for the most part with that blink, with the item
The
timing.
smile. He's happy with that.
But of course, you know, your Luna isn't gonna be in the middle of everyone. Just, you know, yeah, you really don't want her to be too far into this fight. You want to have some of these tankier people up front. Is that gonna prove to become an issue?
Not yet. You don't want to have her there, but she's building a Satanic next item, and she's gonna want to be in the heart of the fight. As soon as that is online, I would say they're gonna try and dive in, initiate with Tiny, and then Luna is gonna charge right behind. That's the ideal execution for VP. So she will at some point be able to just go into the fights when the Satanic is complete. She already has the Reaver now. She's not far away from it.
So who is the primary target then for Nisha that he wants to jump?
It's kind of tricky to say, honestly. I don't think that you burst Luna fast enough that you want to go on her. I'd say GPK is probably the priority, since he can burst people very fast. If you bring him down, then suddenly you can perhaps have your Witch Doctor actually staying alive, less chance for Sniper to get jumped. The biggest strategy here for Secret is keeping Sniper alive and shooting, right? Like, that's the gameplay. If he's right-clicking stuff, they're good. So anything that threatens him is what they need to focus, so probably Tiny. Bottom tier 2 goes down.
You can see VP have made their rotation down to the bottom area of the map. They want to control this take away more of that free area for the side of Secret. We've got the Glimmer Cape online for Hakoda, and now it's going to be time to work on that Aghanim Scepter, which he has picked up a couple times now in the past and used it to great effect.
Yeah, and this dragon is pushing mid tower now. They're gonna get Hakoda.
Nice little hop there from Zayas. Does have the Glimmer Cape. And they have
They don't have dust.
well, they have the ward there, but I think he's still dead anyways.
Yeah.
And that's something neat that I feel like is good to mention, right? We talked about in the past when you see like different drafts, one of those extra elements is making sure that you have something that's going to keep the supports even poor. And in some cases, you know, it's going to be something like a Nyx Assassin where you have to buy detection, you have to buy sentries, all of these things that are going to keep your supports from being able to get those other items quickly, especially in the case of this Disruptor, right? He wants to go for the Aghanim Scepter, but if he's going to have to buy all this detection, it is going to slow him down.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, it's a detail that's nice to think about when you're drafting at least. Mid lane Puppey. Careful not to get too close. There's still GPK sitting around in the area, always looking to jump. He has now disassembled to get his BKB, so no longer Echo Saber, just has the Oblivion Staff. He's gonna repurchase it next. We also have BKB just finished up on Sniper, so a lot of power spikes being hit here. As well as the Blink Dagger on Beastmaster, along with the Overlord.
They send something's up on Secret. They are just Delta hugging over here in the mid lane. No one is showing in the lanes. We'll eventually show Hakoda.
Sniper.
It's the jump forward, maybe? Yeah, try to put the pressure over into Disruptor, but they smoke, wrap around the BKB from GPK. Says he strikes at Chisels, but we get that lasso off over on the back lines. The Satanic doing a lot. They'll end up losing DM, but now this pressure is on. They'll take out Puppey. They're going to end up losing Yamich. But they end up losing 2 over on the side of Secret. And that is, of course, the Sniper, their big core. They end up losing the offlane and support on the side of VP. A lot of ultimates dropped during that fight. Yet again, BKBs used. And we saw that the drag of the lasso, but with the Satanic on Ramses, it just felt like if they didn't burst him, he was just going to be able to heal back up again. That's exactly what happened. They see Zayat stepping here.
The problem is that they didn't have Sniper attacking. They got jumped, nice jump by GPK going in, and then they run in with the Beastmaster as well. They focused entirely on bringing down Sniper in that fight, and that's all they need to do really. The main source of damage is Sniper, as long as they have these BKBs to protect them as well, all around the side of Tiny and the Luna, of course. Then they're not going to die that quickly to the rest of Team Secret. Correctly identifying this, we even see Yamich on his Undying, by the way, going for drums into BKB.
Zayat's poking a bit at Hakoda. They did have the sentry down. Thinking about maybe putting a little bit more pressure. GPK blinking forward over onto both the supports. Following up with a Static Storm over onto Zayat. A little bit of a hit. That is another kill now for Ramses.
Yeah, didn't quite have the mana for a glimpse as well. Perhaps they could have gone one more kill there, but they're going to get away with the Witch Doctor. Still good for VP though. They want to go up. They have Hologram Vision. They see Sniper.
They do see Sniper. He's going to use the BKB Puppey. There's going to be a buyback now from Zayas. The Voodoo Switcheroo coming into play. Not going to be able to quite finish him off as they go. And they drop the wall. Puppey still will end up falling. DM over on the back line though. Go in for the roar play. Still going to end up dying. Hakoda getting clicked down by Crystal. GPK now on the run as Nisha finding himself another kill over onto Yamish.
No dodge.
Oh my god, that fight. They're still chasing top actually.
They are. They're chasing
I'm not
DPK as
thinking-
well. They want this. Good avalanche over onto Nisha. GPK turning back around. Gets a couple hits over onto Nisha. Looks like Luna's out of harm's way, but the toss, they'll get the Bat Rider, but they will eventually end up losing GPK.
I'm not sure if it was caught on the observer stream there, but
Ramses.
wait, he uses Eclipse. Okay, that's not gonna hit anyone.
Nope.
Resso just
No,
runs
it's not.
away, and a tip comes out from Ramses to Resso as it gives him the normal punch and runs. We saw a Ravage in that fight, by the way. Zayat, after his buyback, got a 3-man impale on this Nyx, showing exactly why his Nyx is so fearsome. Here on the right side, after they initiate, they go on him, and the buyback came out from Nyx. He runs from the tier 2 tower mid, and look at the stun in the bottom right corner. We see it a little bit covered, sadly, by the current in-game, but lands a 3-man stun, and Sniper able to just keep attacking stuff here.
Very nicely played. And again, we do have the position 4s on, rather position 4 and 5 on each team playing some very comfortable picks. We've got what is this, his 8th game of Nyx Assassin now on Zayat?
I believe so. Yeah, I believe.
And Hakoda, of course, on that Disruptor, just showing us how to play these heroes and pushing them to the limits and how to line up all of your abilities.
Papahuli si Sniper, ayos na.
Both teams trying to play close to each other here as Secret. I think they recognize that right now VP are very, very scary for the Sniper, so they have to sit around and babysit him. And they need to perhaps get this D. Oh yeah, they have a gem on Batrider. He's gonna get this ward finally. That deep ward has been very crucial for VP's gameplay.
VP's still up by about 2k, but it feels like these fights,
Dire are scanning.
I feel like they should be going a little bit better for them, except for the fact that Secret, just their responses are so fast. They're like lightning breakneck speed, the way that they immediately collapse, they go for the buybacks, they find these angles. What do they need to do differently? Because I feel like we watched GPK jump on Sniper, but he wasn't able to burst him down. He wasn't able to do enough because he had that BKB. So how do they...
Bottom. This dragon split pushing, they have to go back home. Sorry, right now they're trying to stay grouped, but they're gonna have to send someone bottom because of Beastmaster just doing this. The dragon is forcing someone, and then they make a smoke. This is huge.
Says they're forcing them all back home. Nyx Assassin gonna break the smoke. They'll start off with the Death Ward, and just Yamich is instantly dead. That Static Storm dropped over the back line. Oh, but the vacuum wall plus the lasso over onto DM. DM's not gonna... Oh, at the last second, he doesn't manage to get the roar, but there's already lost so many. Coda next to fall. As now Ramses and GPK, they're forced to leave. They have no support left on this board.
The high ground ward and sentry by Secret, they stood in a good position. They realized exactly what was happening. And in the end, the dragon has not taken the bottom tower yet because he started running towards the fight, thinking there would be a fight, but VP just got absolutely clapped by the Sniper and his positioning there.
And now they get a double damage outside of the Roche pit, so things are turning up pretty nicely for the side of Secret.
Yeah, we see a replay here again of how they go in, and this high ground ward and sentry. Look at the death wards. Even though they dropped the tombstone, it doesn't really matter.
Sige, sige. Hanggang gate.
Batrider again just chasing in, getting a good grab as well. In the game, we see now that immortality has been given to Sniper, and now I think Secret feeling really confident. The game was quite even, and overall, it felt like VP perhaps were in a little more of the driver's seat, but now with this Aegis, they can't threaten Crystallis as much. And wouldn't be surprised to see Secret start wanting to get more of the cake here and advance onto the map a little bit more. They've been very much on the back foot, but with the Aegis in hand, they can start contesting the jungles a little bit more.
You can see that the Sniper is now starting to catch up to the Luna after a couple disastrous fights. I have a question though. What's going wrong in these fights for the side of Virtus Pro? Because we talked about, this is the time. This is looking really good. They have to send someone home. Their focus is not necessarily in the form of being defensive. But what exactly is happening? Because it seems like these supports just immediately get blown up, and then both of the cores, the damage dealers, they have to run. They can't do anything.
The move was unfortunate because they probably expected someone already to be going home. Since they were pushing so hard on bottom, they went for that smoke play, but Secret, they stayed together. They didn't even flinch at bottom tier 2 or tier 3 almost going down. So yeah, they almost lost that tier 3 tower, but they stayed together and they were ready for the move that VP were making. So Secret, they had a correct read on what was happening. They realized that split pushing Ancient on bottom was only to force them to split up, but they didn't split up. They stuck together, they were in good positioning, and played under their own wards more crucially. I think that's the hard part for VP there. They were going in blindly into the triangle, or the Ancient area. I suppose, Rip Triangle.
The bi-angle, as we started to refer to it as. But so is it a situation where they need some sort of a pickup on BP? So they do a smoke on smoke play. Hakoda, first one to be found. Drop Static Storm, but it doesn't matter. He's already dead. GPK gets dragged back. Nice play here coming out from DM. Goes for the roar. We get that Eclipse over on the back lines. Nisha will eventually fall. Ramsey's closing the gap on Crystallis. Is going to get hit back a couple times. They need a little bit more damage here. There it is. There's the kill, but he's going to be coming back up again. Yamich bullying Puppy over on the back lines. Ramsey, the wall coming into play. Oh, God. The follow-up from DM, though, will be able to finally take down Crystallis. As now Rezo, last man standing over on the side of Secret.
That manly committing there, that was absolutely crucial, that Luna manned up and ran at the Sniper, despite him having Aegis, going at him, realizing the only way you win this fight is by bringing down Sniper, not once, but twice. And in the end, after his respawn, goes down to the Beastmaster, who's still around. But fantastic start of the fight by Secret. The way they go in, Batrider completely ignoring the supports in favor of going deeper, and finding a good lasso to run in with the Tiny. The roar stopped him. We see the replay here. So he gets the grab on Tiny, starts running, gets roared, and Sniper's just shooting. So look at Ramses, he just commits, no fear, goes in, even with Death Ward on him.
Tower is under attack.
Yeah, that was a really crucial move. And despite him going down in the end, I think VP, they took a really important fight there.
I think the Luna illusion is what actually got the final last hit when he ran back into the wall.
Yeah, he got punched into it as well. A normal punch.
Uh-oh, Hakoda. We'll get a glimpse off, but is going to keep getting chased here. Do manage to break the lasso. Still holding on to, I think he dropped the gem in the base.
No way.
He's going to get away? The fight. No, I don't think he's... Oh my god, I guess he is with that Glimmer Cape. Yamich, that doesn't look to be quite as lucky. Pops his BKB. Again, that's physical damage. Even dropping the tombstone. So both of these supports somehow still surviving. And now the dive bomb over onto Puppey. Should be able to just slowly chase after. Goes for the voodoo... the voodoo switcheroo, rather, just to buy himself a little more time. But they'll still find the kill. I can't believe that both of the supports survived that. I thought for sure they were toast.
You have to ban Hakoda and his Disruptor. He's too good at these fast kinetic fields and how he gets away from these plays. It's actually really beautiful to see. He gets the glimpse out and then kinetic field glimmers and starts running away. And you could almost see Puppey just being ignored there on his Witch Doctor as GPK was running past him on Tiny. He's like, yeah, I don't want you, I want a big kill. And then finally goes back, he's like, okay, I'll take a Witch Doctor.
I mean, the Tombstone Zombies probably would eventually chased him down, maybe. Oh, yeah, look at that. The immediate ping, the blink from GPK. See, pops his own BKB. The Roto coming out from DM. They'll throw all the trees at Reza. It's just dead. The follow-up with the Eclipse over onto Kristoff. Oh my god, that's so much damage. Fast and furious hits over here.
Hakoda is so insane. He gets there in time, plants the high ground ward, gets the glimpse back. BKB was on cooldown after the initial jump there. No way for him to save himself.
And this is a mid-game Luna. Once you take down this tower, that's going to have all the glaives bouncing around on your racks, and you're going to lose a lot of buildings. They do buy back them on Rezo.
I don't think they care. There's no sniper. They want to keep going. If they don't have sniper, they will keep sieging here with Luna. She has full Daedalus. Her damage is really high. Waiting for creep wave, then she's committing again.
Yeah, she still has her BKB and the Satanic available, but there is a lasso, so you have to be aware of that.
I think maybe they opt out to back out in the end because they were completely out of mana on their Undying, and of course BKBs being used in the initial engagement. Decide to just take over the map again. But huge win there for VP. This game is really swinging back and forth, but now with 12,000 gold lead. That happened in like an instant. Them getting 2 team fights and suddenly they're just massively ahead.
I mean, that reaction time over in the mid lane by the tier 2, you see a slight ping because they could see that the sniper was there, and just the immediate blink from GPK. And as we talk about immediate blinks, we do manage to see Yamish here. Still gonna end up dying, but they do glimpse back Nisha for that brief moment. Now they're just gonna farm up a tombstone.
Ah, yes, the tombstone on Death Hound. It's good in team fights, but it can be a little bit of a feed when you get solo picked off like that. 175 extra gold. Now Secret want to fight more.
Zayats, he's there. He's got himself dust. This is a dead Hakoda.
Yeah, correctly pings out that he was under a ward, and he pinged the right spot too, but that ward is about to time out anyway, so even if they know it, it doesn't really change too much.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Mid tier 2 probably gonna go down here, but meanwhile there are some illusions split pushing towards the bottom lane with a catapult, so tier 3 tower should be going down here.
The illusion turns its attention around to these creeps, so... Well, final hit though with the glaives. Are they gonna be able to do it? Nope. It still goes down though. Not with the illusions though.
+1 for Cardi. I think the big timing in this game right now that I'm looking towards is GPK once he gets this Daedalus delivered out, he actually has the Crystallis and the Demon Edge already. With the Aghanims, we saw on Tiny how much damage he did on the mid lane there. If he can get a big tree volley, as the ability is called, then I think that could be a great way to bring down anyone.
There's the roar
There it
over
is.
on Tanisha. The burst immediate, like you said, that tree volley. Do get that little bit of a glimpse back, just in case, but this is going to open the doors quite wide for the side of VP. No Batrider for 70-something seconds. So they can go for any sort of push that they might like.
He bought out the Octarine too, so he doesn't have buyback. He's 150 gold off buyback because of that greedy play. Now, I think they're going to go high ground, and once Luna gets to your high ground, it's very hard to prevent her from taking all the base. How can Secret defend this?
They'll go, they'll drop the tombstone, hit the drums. The shrapnel is a little bit difficult to have to deal with. Look how far back the Crystallis is able to sit.
Yeah, Crystallis, he can maybe poke away the Luna from the racks here. He's going to try.
All right, they'll get the stun over onto Ramsey. The follow-up, though, was it a bit of a bait? Ramsey, they try to keep him alive, but no, they're not going to be able to. So they get a nice vacuum back over onto Hakoda. They pop those BKBs, but they still end up managing to take that half racks. As now the rest of the team backing off after Luna gets absolutely blown up.
That was Zayats again, by the way. The Nyx Assassin with a big play. One downside playing Luna, those glaives bouncing around, Zayat turned it against him. He used the Spike Carapace when he walked in, immediately stunned the Luna, gets the chain stun with the Impale, and she just goes down. That's too long stun duration. So even without Batrider, they win that fight.
Zayat, Dakota, they get the lasso back over onto Yamich. Yamich getting dragged, Rezel with the punch. They'll lose Dakota, they'll end up losing Yamich. Anisha popping that BKB during that, too.
Yeah, I mean, he has
Perhaps thinking there were more there.
Yeah, he has Octarine, better to play it safe. That was a big enough engagement that use your BKB. It's 2 kills. If you get those 2 kills, suddenly 3 people are dead on VP. Roche is not up yet. I think Secret, they want to force buybacks. Going towards mid.
They scan over in the pit. They know that that's where they have their eyes. And they send over Hawk.
Look at bottom, though. The Ancient is back. Wants the melee racks.
It's the beautiful ancient ice shaman.
Yeah, with an ice fire bomb. Roche is up now, and they're starting to take it.
They know that it's there. The GPK looking, checking to make sure they don't have any vision. Goes
the
for the
damage.
blink, BKB. Look at that avalanche. Look at that damage from the tree volley. Oh my god, it's a double kill so quickly. True hit and run coming out from the side of GPK. Buyback now from the Undying. I don't think they're going to be able to get there in time. They're thinking about it. They're running as fast as they can. Yamich, he's popped, doesn't even pop the drums yet. Ghost drops the tombstone, tries to get in there quickly. DM going for the roar, but they have the Lotus and the BKB. Turn back around, Puppy putting out the damage with that Death Ward. Voodoo True buying him just a little bit more time. It's still going to be Crystallis with the Aegis, but...
Puppy passes a Lincoln's and a Lotus all over on his sniper and allows him to survive the roar and TP out. What? Do you have a Lincoln?
There's a reason this guy has been at
Lotus?
every TI.
He wants to get to this TI as well, let me tell you. He's doing everything he can here.
Alright, well, have the Aegis on the sniper. And they forced out the buyback on the Undying. Go for a little bit of a smoke play with Nisha and Zayats. They know that GPK has been hunting, pushing bottom. The rest of the team, though, is grouped up. Ninja Gear, though, is going to allow GPK to get really nice positioning while this goes down. And they have to realize something's coming. They might try to bait the Luna a little bit. You can see Ramsey's backing off. They'll send over the Thunderhide. Zayat's popping the Spike Carapace right away. It's the Glimmer over onto Tiny. The drag back. They need to get there really quickly. They're doing so much damage though with this sniper. Yamich trying to save him. Not going to be able to do it as they do manage to finish off the racks, but they'll end up losing this Undying to boot.
Virtus Liquid.
Yeah, that's a lot of gold going over the way of Secret, and Undying does not have buyback, dead for 100 seconds. Still a long death timer on Tiny as well. Long enough the Secret can now make a move. They smoke up immediately. There's even a DD rune top. They see it with their ward. So this is a really strong timing they're going to hit. DP though, they want to sit around. They want to try and catch anyone who's alone. Perhaps Darkseer?
Look at the way VP is like playing so tightly together here. Just trying to back off. Again, double damage over on Crystallis. Still holding on to that Aegis for another 3 minutes. They lost the gem during that fight too, so it's going to mean that the support is going to be a little bit poor, but we do see the gold starting to amount over on Disruptor.
Sniper now with a
Tower,
DD
though?
rune starting to siege.
Dire structures are fortified.
This is a really fast
Support.
damage. They're trying not to split with the Beastmaster again, going for mid. They do not want to fight without their Undying as well as their Tiny. And I don't think they can get forced to buy back because they still have their tier 2s on the side lanes. They want to go Throne. They want to force it.
Dire's middle barracks are under attack.
They're sticking around on Secret, ignoring the racks, going for the tier 4 towers.
This is a calculated play here.
It's a risky one though. They're meanwhile losing mid-racks. Mid-racks went down to the Beastmaster.
Yeah, he's
This is
just
an
being
all-in
allowed
play.
to hit everything. They're gonna have the Tiny back up in about 11 seconds. A little bit longer for the Undying.
I think he's gonna respawn in time though. Throne has buffed armor since a recent patch. I
Making
think
their
maybe
way over.
VP can hold this.
Don't know. Again, they still have the Aegis jump forward here from DM, but he's not going to be able to get the roar off. He started to build up, and he's not going to be able to do it. Gets it off at the last second. Only lands over onto Puppey. The buyback comes out immediately. GPK with the BKB trying to put the damage over onto Puppey. Nisha, though, dragging back GPK with that lasso. He's got the left on now. GPK taking so many clicks. The wall gets dropped. Rezo, though, pops up being thrown away. Koko's going to die next. Stalis, Ramsey's doing as much as he can here, trying to get these clicks off. Lots of buybacks coming out from both sides. Crystal's finally, they'll be able to go get the Aegis, but there's the strike back again. Now Yamish sitting very low. Up comes Crystallis. They need to finish him off, and he's doing so much damage with that knockback too, but eventually they'll get the kill on Sniper while making them a little hesitant to go forward. So they saw Puppey, a good little stun over onto the side. They do finally get Yamish. Nisha still alive and kicking. Buyback now on
Sniper's not
Crystallis.
doing
The head
it.
back. He's
Nisha,
trying to
boy.
get there. Good Lotus Orb over onto Nisha. He's going to be able to stay alive. That was the question. Sitting so very low. Ramses, he takes too much damage. There's no buyback on this Luna. GPK sitting at like 100 hit points. A couple little
GG.
clicks. It's a triple kill now for
Secret have done
Nisha. They have
GG.
won it with a calculated risk of going for those tier 4s and forcing
Wow.
all the buybacks. What a game.
That was a big play to commit for the tier 4s, not taking the safe play of just going for the racks. Very, very experienced call there. We see Secret in good spirits after that. The first game was really close both ways. We saw VP taking the advantage over and over and being a little bit ahead, but Secret, they felt like they were just holding on, playing calculated and playing close. Definitely felt very controlled, and Puppey looks very happy about clutching out the first game here.
I mean, you're going to ride that momentum. You just won the first game of this finals here for the upper bracket, and, you know, they've got their eyes on TI. They want to be there. Just really well played coming out from Secret, the way that they, you know, moved around the map, the way that they were always together. Like you said, that became a huge problem because they tried to take these fights and initiations, but positioning was usually very, very good. They had the vision game with Zayats, you know, opening up these opportunities, and we come back down to that voodoo switcheroo, being able to go and dodge away from damage because they focused down Puppey quite a few times and they weren't able to finish.
They did focus on Puppey, but Puppey was also able to save his teammates so many times. This Lotus and Lincoln's play in the Roche pit stands out to me. That was crazy save of the game, saving Crystallis and allowing him to keep the Aegis that ultimately proved crucial there at the end, making sure that they could clutch out the win. I mean, there's so much to talk about. I think it's hard for me to mention an MVP of the first game. Maybe Zayats with a lot of his scouting and his stunts, but both teams honestly had such a strong showing. Nisha also going 19 and 5, 16 on his Batrider. There's a lot to talk about. I think perhaps we have some people on the panel who would like to cover it more.
Yeah, for sure. Nisha definitely proving that he's done a great job, but we're going to throw it over to the panel and have them discuss.
You guys so much. Waga said it right there. There is so much that we have to break it down. And I mean, because there's something that you said was very much about like those laning phases, how they sort of had to play out. How did it end up going? And do you think that's sort of how the game led towards the way that it did?
I think most of the lanes went somewhat as expected. I mean, Luna did very well top. Ramses had a pretty sick performance, not gonna lie. I think his team set him up pretty well too. I'll say that VP made a few mistakes in the early game around the mid lane, but the rest somewhat to be expected.
All right, I mean, we saw a very crazy end there. VP were looking like they were going to be taken, then all of a sudden, Secret just rushing straight for the tier 4s at the end. But before we see that fight happen, we do have some other team fights throughout this, past the laning stage, T-Panda.
Yeah, there's some. There was a lot of chaos in this game, and especially that ending. That was a very, very bold move from Secret, but it worked out in their favor. But until events that led to that point, all the importance was coming out of the laning stage. VP was kind of struggling with their Tiny and their Beastmaster to get them online, and it felt like this is down to Ramses this game, and he definitely had a huge impact on the Luna. He's had a very good item choice as well, where he was looking to take into like specific. What I'm trying to get here is that he had a very good idea with his general itemization. But we also saw some pretty cool stuff coming in from Secret. We saw Puppy's itemization to help out a Sniper, which was in a very crucial role this game, because it felt like in a couple fights they're going to lose this Sniper really quickly if they aren't able to use at least some defensive items or defensive spells to keep them up and running, because they do good in a long run with their lineup. They also have a good amount of burst damage, which they definitely utilize this game. But outside of these clips, I think this is also a pretty important one. Kez, you want to take over this one?
Yeah, like here, so I think that VP, this is a huge turning point for Secret in this game. VP decided to go high ground when the second Roshan is pretty much spawning. Then they die, Secret go for Rosh, and then GPK chads it up in this play, kills like 2 heroes alone, TP's out. But we need to notice this Lotus and Lincolns from Puppy, as Waga mentioned. It's the only reason that Chrysalis, not only does he live, but he got to take the Aegis. If he gets roared there, he's gonna most likely die, not get the Aegis, and it's a huge disaster. But then here we have this high ground push with the Aegis. You see VP, they're gonna keep buying back heroes, but it's starting to become a little bit hard. Now you have the last, so you're gonna drag in GPK. And now look at Ramses. He's like trying the best. As we mentioned, he has great items. He mans up. Honestly, I'm not sure he could have done more in this game, but Sniper has Aegis, and his team, as this fight progresses, they're also gonna start buying back. Now you have Tiny, who already bought back. Disruptor, the fight keeps going. Zayas comes in with like a great turnaround. And I feel like eventually VP are going to start to run a little bit out of damage, simply because, well, Radiant, they're going to buy back the heroes. Now we see the fight has been going on for like 1 minute. Ramses comes back in. Secret do a nice job of like disengaging and kiting. They're waiting for Chrysalis to come back. He buys his Boots of Travel, and once the Sniper is back in, bam. They turn it around. Now they kill them. They die back, and they actually just get to end the game.
I mean, we even saw on a little bit of a split screen there. It's like Secret having the knowledge, the experience to know to stick through this, that VP are going to be able to expend all of their buybacks, and they're still going to be able to win the team fight whilst their tier 4s are getting pushed as well. Secret held onto that nerve, and it pushed out. It proved to be very successful for them in them going just straight for that tier 4. But Fia, I want to hear some of your thoughts about, I guess, starting with VP's lineup, and then we can transition to Secret after that. But why VP were able to have a little bit of a strong showing in the middle part of that game, middle to late part.
I think their lineup was really on a clock here, and I was super worried for them, especially for the Luna. Like, I think she had 3 terrible core matchups here. You're playing versus the Batrider. Luna doesn't want to be repositioned. It's very easy to kill the hero in that situation. You're playing versus Darkseer Wall, and then you can never really get on top of the Sniper either as a Luna. But they exceeded a lot of my expectations in this game. It was a pretty wild and crazy game. I think GPK ended up going for this Aghanims with Daedalus. It's proving to be pretty strong. We saw Thompson doing that quite a bit, right, on this mid-Tiny, having a lot of impact, bringing them back into the game. But overall, I'm like pretty hopeful for Game 2 for VP, because like this was a pretty hard outdraft in my opinion for Secret versus VP here. And in game number 2 here, I don't think Secret is going to get this good of a draft again. And even though they were heavily outdrafted, it was still a really close game.
Yeah, I mean, that's something to be said for VP. You know, even if they are, in your eyes, being heavily outdrafted, they can still put up a pretty solid fight. It was a close game 1. Kezu, is there anything that's sticking out for you with not only items, but some of the KDAs and the gold and net worth, as well as to who could potentially be the MVP?
I mean, I would say that Nisha probably did the most for his team. I think the tempo he set up, to be fair, most of the cores on Secret, I think to be fair, everyone in Secret played very well. I feel like I could hand it to all of them. But even if you look at Virtus Pro, as Fear mentioned, this game was incredibly hard. And to be fair, they had a very good chance at winning this game. Like Ramses, GPK, they had a pretty sick performance, I think, given the situation that they were given.
Mm-hmm. And for you, T-Panda, you know, you talked about it before we jumped to the draft, and it came out as their first pick, but Zayat's getting the Nyx Assassin. one, his showing here, but two, do you think it's going to get let through for game two?
I think one of the wild interactions we never actually touched upon this game was Nyx versus Luna. Even the most experienced players will suddenly get shocked about the fact that the bouncing glaives inside the push, the push going on in the bottom lane, where the bouncing glaives under a sentry ward, where the Nyx assassin gets spotted, he get insta-hit by Carapace, no reaction time for BKB, and the reason why Luna just got nuked down because of that small stun that kicked in, is one of the reasons why this Nyx assassin is also really good against carry heroes in general. It feels like the anti-carry, and 7-1 stats already for Zayats, man. Is he going to play anything else than the Nyx assassin? I mean, keep on going if it's working that well.
I was going to say, if it's working, why change it up? But it might not be let through in game two. We're going to jump to a break. When we come back, we'll a spot at TI11 is on the line. Secret, if they can close out this game number 2, they will secure their ticket there, and they will be joining the other 18 confirmed teams. But it's not going to be easy. VP are also looking to make it to TI themselves. They're going to have to bounce back here in game number 2. And in your eyes, Kezu, even though there was that little bit of an outdraft, how do you bounce back? Where is the draft changes and the mental shift coming from?
I think right now, again, it's important to just, take it one game at a time. Try not to overthink it too much. Maybe even go about the fact that, the game was hard. We still did really well. And one thing I have to note, maybe try to change up the game just a little bit with their second pick, which is the case now, because I think they want to make the game easier for themselves. Try to give yourself the easier win condition that you can play for in this game, because that was not the case in the last game.
So yeah, what are some easier win conditions? I know we don't have any heroes yet picked, but what sort of change-up style and gameplay style would you like to see from VP?
Well, it looks like M&Ms and bananas are going to be the switch up here for VP.
I just need a little bit of brain fuel.
Yeah, draft-wise, I think this Nyx is going to continue to get through because there's just too many annoying meta heroes that are just, you have to ban. And as far as, how can they adjust to it, it's not really all about the Nyx here. I think they just need to focus on their own drafting a bit. I think the Luna pick was really out of place. I think Ramses is a very talented and capable player. I think giving him a hero that can carry the game, or maybe just a later pick, might be a smart decision for Virtus Pro in this game.
Okay. Well, yeah, you talked about all of those meta picks that can be let through in the first phase, and Primal Beast is one of them. Secret getting their hands on it, T-Vander.
3 picks on Primal Beast. They've all won a game, so that's a clean 100% for Secret. It's, it's one of the solid starters in drafts. Most teams do like the idea that you can flex this around. Has very dangerous early game potential from position 2 to 3. Haven't really seen the support Primal Beast of late, because I feel like the playmaking capability of this year, I think Thompson already showed that in a very good fashion of doing those early rotations to the side lanes. That was a pre-4 minutes, if I remember correct. I don't think Secret wants to necessarily do the same thing, but they could try it out. Because it does put a lot of pressure away from your side lanes and relieve them a little bit too.
Yeah, I mean, Secret were able to get Primal Beast in their series up against T1 yesterday, and it was played on Nisha. We've also seen it played on Rezu in the past, so that flex potential coming out. But VP, Undying Disruptor again, Kezu.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of just the bread and butter from Virtus Pro. They really like this opening. They have a pretty good track record, at least right now, when they do have these two heroes. One thing to note, I think Secret's response is good with the Chen. Last game, when VP had these two heroes, they had the chance to ban the Chen in the second phase. This time Secret are like, nope, we won't give you the chance. We're going to take the Chen here. And one hero I would love for Virtus Pro to ban, unless they protect themselves very well against it, is Lycan, because their heroes don't stand a chance.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think the Zoo meta for Secret with the Chens and the Lycans and the Enchantresses have been very deadly against their opponents they're playing against. And sitting in together with a Primal Beast, I would not want to play against a PB Lycan Chen. That would be a very rough draft to play against.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think... I don't think it's the Lycan of old where you can just see 2 supports and pick Lycan. Normally when Secret did pick it, they saw at least one core matchup namely the Morphling. But if they do pick a core that Lycan is good against, I definitely could see Secret picking that up for sure.
It's looking like VP don't want to let too much Zoo through. The Beastmaster ban there. Any other bans?
Yeah,
that
I
really
mean, so I was just gonna say, second phase banning, like, probably the most boring part of the draft here. It's usually just preference of the teams, and maybe they're thinking about what they want to pick, right? So at most we can kind of look into it and be like, they banned this. Maybe it's like a chess match in a way. They're trying to set up for a hero later in the draft here, or they're just choosing to like kind of cover heroes that are good against what they already have. You see on Virtus Pro here, Beastmaster, as Kezu mentioned, kind of like the Lycan, Beast, similar heroes, good. We call them the Zoo, right? It's good against the Disruptor. It's definitely good versus the Undying too. So maybe they're going to continue that route, and that's their train of thought, and they'll just continue to ban that out. Or if they ban something that doesn't make that much sense now, it could be to cover up a future pick that they want to do later on in the draft.
I mean, I think
Something I
the
was
sniper would
looking-
make sense.
Sniper could, yeah, that could make sense. That is banned out. The heroes from VP as well. Once you see that Primal Beast come out, it does take away a couple options that they usually pick in the second phase. Dark Willow doesn't really fit in. Even if you decide to flex that Undying as a 3, for example, the Willow is just not too great against the Primal Beast. The Silencer seems a bit weak-ish. Especially once you have the Chen added into the mix, and they banned the Visage on the side of Secret, so you're only left with Tide and Doom that they've usually picked in the second phase, and Doom hasn't won a single game for Virtus Pro so far.
Not too in their favor then. Because any insights you can give us while we are getting through what Fear has now branded as the boring part of the draft?
I would say there's definitely still some things you can look into. So traditionally, when VP have picked these two heroes, you want to pick a core out of phase usually, because most often for them, these will just be their two supports. I think similar to the last game. So you see the Chen, you kind of want to have an answer to it. There's the heroes such as Tidehunter, as T-Panda mentioned. They aren't really putting any bans to protect this hero yet, so I'm not leaning too much towards them picking this hero. I do think it would fit their draft because you could lane the Disruptor in the off lane. It's maybe not super ideal against Chen, but it would allow your Undying to go into the safe lane. And then for Secret, it's not too easy to say yet, but they're most likely going to pick Zayat as hero in the next phase, and then they have to decide where this Primal Beast will go. If they have a very high value offlane pick, they will take it there. Otherwise, they're going to be picking their carry with their 4.
Mm-hmm. Well, knowing that they're going to then want to pick up Zayat's hero for Secret in the opening, do you contemplate the next ban hero, or are you still of the same idea, Fear, that, yeah, the Zoo just needs to go?
I mean, the Nyx Assassin, like, he has a good win rate, right? But I haven't seen it being like, this hero just is, unstoppable. He just plays it well, he does his job really well, and Secret's a good team, and I think VP realized that as well, so they're not really just needing to ban that, because we saw his Earth Spirit too. He had just as good of a game on Earth Spirit as he does Nyx Assassin. He just fits that role really well. It's not particularly the hero itself, but I do like how VP is making some adjustments in their draft. They banned the Sniper, a hero that was really good versus a Luna. Maybe they want to go a route like that again, where they pick like kind of a stationary carry that Sniper's really good against. Very good versus the Tombstone as well. This Undying hero plus the Disruptor, really good for balling up and kind of making things happen on the map. But with this Clockwork pick, it kind of looks like they're going to be shoving this Undying into position 3 this game.
I'm looking at the same. You haven't really played the Clockwork except for Yamich, so if they do decide to put the 3 Undying with the Clockwork, potentially going into one lane, you got a double melee setup here. Tombstone gets a bit of benefit as well with the Clockwork running people down. Potential for a good lane to punish the enemy carry. Secret's gonna have to put something in their lane that is able to survive this this double melee powerhouse that can basically just dive them under the tower. Like, you gotta be quick with reactions and rotations to save Secret's safe lane too.
10 seconds remaining.
More comfort coming out. But yeah, how do you feel about the clock and how it fits into VP's strategy there, Keza, while we wait for Secret to pick up their 4th pick?
It's okay. I'm still a little bit on the fence about the core Undying into a Chen type of lineup, and I think there's a little bit of overlap between the Clock and the Disruptor. Though I must say Secret's response is pretty good. They have the Chrysalis Monkey King. It's his signature. He's going to lane against Undying. Though I must say a lot of the heroes that counter Undying, they tend to have a very easy time losing the lane as well. Like, Chen Monkey King isn't the most insane lane unless you get to man up with Penitence into the right clicks. But with that said, I think Monkey King makes a lot of sense for their draft. It's good with Chen in the game, and it allows them to hold the Primal Beast for one more pick, because now VP need to show their carry or safe lane, which then allows Secret to at least get one more counter matchup.
I will say, like, I have noticed on the Secret side there, Puppy's been giggling this whole draft, and it looks like they're pretty comfortable with the heroes they're getting and how this draft is going. They laughed when they saw the Disruptor Undying opening. They got the Chrysalis Monkey King, saw him laughing again. They seem pretty comfortable and happy with what they've got so far.
Yeah, the confidence goes a long way, even if you think certain matchups or certain lanes might be a little bit difficult. If you have that confidence, it's going to work out. And the Sniper ban, for them to go down that Luna route, you picked it, Fear.
Yeah, I mean, I think banning this, they kind of like have a strategy, right? Like, they pick their Undying, they pick their Disruptor. It seems like when their scrims or their talks, mock drafting, whatever they did, Luna is the carry that they want to go for when they have these type of heroes. And Sniper is just probably the worst carry matchup for this Luna. So they banned it out, giving them the option to, like, later on pick this Luna in the draft. It's okay. It's not like a hard counter to the Monkey King or anything. I really just think they picked this hero just because they enjoy having it with the current heroes that they already have in their draft.
There's a kind of tough situation for VP, because now they have to figure out, is this Monkey King, is this Primal Beast going mid, or is he going off lane? And Secret also have the last pick of the draft, so they just probably gonna ban both. I guess they don't want to ban, they don't want to play anything that Secret played last game.
Tezzy, how are you feeling with these last two bans, and then knowing the position Secret have put themselves in? If you were VP, what would your last pick entail? Are there any holes in that draft that need to be fixed?
I feel like Virtus.pro need to make sure, so the good thing for them is that they do have last pick. I feel like ideally their last hero is going to do well in its lane, offer damage in the draft. But when you look at the first three heroes against Chen, I feel like they didn't address the Chen that well yet. Chen is very good against lineups that lack damage. And if you look at Undying, Clock, and Disruptor, they're not the most damage-dealing heroes. So I want Virtus.pro to have a mid-hero that deals damage, but then also can rotate to the Undying. Because we saw something similar yesterday in the T1 game. If your Undying is 6 billion net worth, it doesn't matter if you never get to combine your heroes. And I feel like right now, Virtus.pro, they're lacking this type of hero later in the draft.
They got the last pick, though, so choice will be theirs. As far as, like, Team Secret here, though, they have to decide right now where this Primal Beast is going. Are they going to throw in the mid lane for Nisha, or is Rezo going to pick it up in the off lane here? And they banned out, like, this is going to be a different game. As it looks like the same game, or the same draft from VP, but it's going to be an entirely different game as the Darkseer is gone, the Sniper is gone, the Batrider is also not available in the pool, so Secret's going to have to combat this lineup with 4 new heroes, as the Knicks will stay static.
Fear, quickly, read into the last for me and tell me what they're going to pick. Last pick on Secret.
Last pick? For who?
For Secret.
Oh,
read
for
Nisha's,
Secret,
read Nisha's face. What's he gonna do?
Oh, his face.
What does that face
He's feeling
tell you?
Primal Beast right now.
Yeah?
That's why he's silent. That's why they're discussing with Rezo right now. No, he's looking at Nisha. It's a Nisha hero. No, he looked at Rezo. They're not sure.
They're still
They don't
coin flipping it.
They're debating it right now.
They're like, Nisha, do you want
Like,
it?
which one do you want to play? Primal Beast? Like, they both want to play it. No, I want to play it. No, I want to play Primal Beast this game. Because that hero is just so damn fun. I'm pretty sure everyone wants to play it. But I think the correct choice would probably be Primal Beast versus Luna. Yeah, I think Primal Beast should just lane versus Luna, because if you get on top with the trample there, not a lot Luna can do about that, right? So they're just going to pick a blind matchup mid. Lina, who beats Lina mid? Pretty much nobody. You might be able to argue a TA, but usually speaking, not even that. Invoker was a hero that is pretty popular, but that got banned out as well. So just a hero that's very hard to counter in the mid lane.
5 seconds remaining.
Do they want to go Storm and GPK?
This is a hard pick, I think. I'm having a hard time figuring out what you want. I think Storm could be okay. I'm not sure how this Lina Windranger matchup goes. Could also be hard to pull that hero off. I feel like most of the heroes that VP would want in this slot are not really available. Tiny would have been something that they could have liked, say with the Invoker, but it looks like they kind of know what they want, as it's mid-Tusk. I've seen this before. All right.
Yeah, you get on top of the lane is like, you're pretty tanky, right? So you can take a bit of a beating. And then later on, you just snowball on top of Lina. Lina hates the heavy physical damage, and Hero's getting on top of her. So, like, maybe the lane, Lina might come ahead shortly, but just one rotation or two, Tusk can kill Lina incredibly easily.
And for you guys, when you've seen it in the past, is that practically just how it plays out?
So I would say that it's actually somewhat similar to last game, but that VP have... So VP gave themselves a better chance in this game, but I think it's similar to what we saw in game 1. I think Secret have the better win condition. I think this is a pretty good Monkey King game. Maybe there's some interaction later in the game with GPK where he wants to kick him out of the ring, so that could be a turning point. But once again, VP need to play on tempo. They have Luna, they picked this mid-task for a reason to help enable the side lanes, and that's what I want to see from them. If they want to take this to a game 3, you need to play fast.
T-Panda, do you think they're going to be able to do it? Is Virtus Pro able to hit that tempo that's required in this draft?
Well, if everybody matches up to Ramses in last game, potentially yes. I mean, I do like the Secret draft in general. I feel like Secret has a bit of an edge versus Virtus Pro, but anything can happen in this game. This could be a tie series.
Fiat, is it going to be a tied series? Is it going to be a 2-0?
It's gonna be a tied series for sure. VP is gonna come back. We're gonna get a game 3. Everybody wants it. Super hype day, you know, last day. So let's get a game 3.
Yeah, all right. Well, then let's jump into game 2. It's Wagger and Moxie.
I don't think too many people would be really disappointed to see a game 3, but getting some very interesting drafts this time around, Waga. How do you feel this game's gonna just play out?
I think VP are gonna bring it back, actually. I like the point that Kezu pointed out there, that the Tusk is really good against Monkey King if he gets to the point of having Aghanims, kicking him away, not only from the ulti, like obviously canceling Wukong's command is huge, but in general, just being able to kick away the Monkey King is a pretty good tool to try and keep your team alive here. They also have good heroes like Fear said to get on top of the Lina, so they have sort of tools to counter both the POS 1 and POS 2 on the side of Secret. Yeah, I think we're gonna see VP bring it back here. I hope so, at least, because I want more games from these series.
Do you feel like the draft that we see now coming out from the side of VP is too reactive, though? They did get a couple of the heroes that they really enjoyed, right? You can see the Clock and the Disruptor, 2 heroes that have just done so much work in the past games that we've watched coming out from them. But is this necessarily what they wanted for their draft, do you think?
I think they're certainly reacting to the Monkey King. I think if Monkey King wasn't in the game, I don't think we would see the Tusk mid here. We've seen Tusk mid done before, but I think it's just a good game to do it, so he wants to do it here. And since Lina's a hard hero to counterpick, as in getting a hero that wins against her in the lane, Tusk would do, you know, quite as well as an Ember would, or as against a lot of other heroes would have done in the same situation. So I think VP have a nice mix between countering Secret and still having their own synergies.
Are we going to run into any issues, though? We saw with the Tiny in game number 1 that GPK was just getting kited so badly towards the end. Are we going to see that issue come into play with this Tusk now? Maybe. We might see a fair amount of kiting from both teams, honestly, as you definitely want to mitigate the damage output of a Luna the same way. You have a lot of stuns over on the side of Secret, so she's probably going to get a hard time to do the right-clicking in this game when the BKB is not up.
The battle begins.
Already Ramses is chased away from the rune top. Doesn't want to deal with that Primal Beast, so it's going to end up being a equal split of those bounty runes to start this game off.
Yeah, no immediate advantage there, and they are now trying to keep Monkey King a little bit away from getting to bottom lane. Hakoda being careful though, knowing that he's alone.
So we talked a lot about, you know, eventually getting something like the Walrus Kick. What's the priority of the Ags for GPK here? What's going to be the build-up?
It's pretty high priority. I would say it might not be your first item. Blink Dagger is still a very nice thing to get, but I think you will prioritize it as a second item at least. Possible still as a first item. But he definitely wants to get, you know, probably face boots and some upgrades. Nisha taking a bit of tower damage there.
A little bit of that harass going back and forth. This is not the easiest lane for GPK to be playing against Selena. Like the guys kept saying, this is just one of those heroes that doesn't really lose the lane very often.
Oh, she doesn't lose the lane, but so far the CSing going quite well for the Tusk. He's 4-2. Managing to get any denies against Alina's Tusk is not that easy. Oh, top lane, he gets caught.
Top lane, ooh, Ramsey's just taking so much harass. But they'll turn it back around over onto Zayat.
Yeah. Zayat's just not allowing him to try and keep the creeps back. He still keeps them outside of tower range, though, which was the goal for Luna there.
Crystallis now sitting with those 8 decay stacks on him, only about 500 health total. DM just continuously spamming out the decays.
Yeah, the core Undying is pretty strong laner, even into something like Monkey King. Just by getting Monkey solo HP, he can't really trade confidently back.
A little bit of harass over to Zayat. He's doing the same thing that he did in game number 1 as Reza is just, he's enjoying the fact he's a big tanky boy because he just solo kills Luna underneath her own tower. That's a bit of a disaster.
This is one of the hard things about being a ranged core when teams are doing these pull shenanigans. You get the enemy creep wave under your tower, you don't have your own creep wave, nothing to support you, you take a lot of damage over time, and Primal Beast just manages to get a nice catch on him.
I feel like Luna is just so squishy too, which can be a little bit of an issue. We've seen just how fast heroes can melt when they have, you know, in the position where they can get trampled upon.
Yeah, certainly, especially with this item build too. Only has 2 Iron Branches, so his stats are quite low on the strength department. He's of course opting to go for as much damage as possible. Usual build, we see it quite a lot. Bottom lane,
Yeah.
they're chasing Haroda.
Hakoda, throw and drop the Boundless. There it is. They've got the Jingu. DM still chasing after Crystallis here. It does have those 8 stacks of decay, but just gonna walk away from this fight. They're happy with what they got. They got a kill on the support for Secret.
Yes. Secret doing great here. I mean, getting kills on both side lanes. Really happy. And mid.
This top lane again. Nice save by Yamich, just throwing out the power cog so they can't continue to stomp all over Ramses.
Yeah, Block was picked after Primal Beast as a counter specifically to him. He's so annoying for a Primal Beast. You have the battery assault, of course, against the ulti, but also this cogs just blocking you from doing what you want.
So who is the hero that you think that we should be focusing the heaviest on right now? Who's the one with the most potential to make things happen?
The one that I'm keeping my eye on is just whether or not Tusk can get good enough of a laning stage, and right now he's doing amazing. He is sitting at 17-2 CS against the 22-5 for Lina. Yes, she's winning the lane, but when you're against Lina as a Tusk, I think this is good.
We've got the top lane again, just the trample. Nice power cogs coming out from Yamich. It's gonna slow him down, but Ramses is separated here. With the roar, put a little bit more harass. Just feels like Ramses constantly being pressured. We'll get a solve
Yeah, Resso is playing really good here. He's taking every chance to do damage, even if he doesn't think that there's a huge kill potential. He's just going, and it's making Ramses' life very difficult here in the laning stage.
And I think that's such a great way to play this too, is that, you know, Luna, we saw how well they did, you know, Ramses in that first game, like during the laning phase. Like he was running away with the amount of farm he was getting, but if he's constantly having to worry about his health or doing, you know, ferrying out any sort of regen, definitely going to slow him down quite a bit.
Yeah, certainly. A little bit of stacking preparing here. Of course, they can farm it very easily. Either Lina or the Primal Beast could go over and take that. Trample does kill stacks really, really fast as well. And right now, Luna not allowed to really touch the creeps, as Resso is just keeping him at bay. Look, every time he comes up for a CS, Resso is just walking up like, no, you don't. Stay back.
It's not much that they can really do other than, you know, have Yamich just throw out the power cogs every single time.
Yeah, they can help protect, but they can't really secure the farm right now for Luna. We have 20 seconds until the power rune spawn. We see both teams bringing over multiple supports here. Both Puppey and Zayats are checking runes. Same for Yamich and Hakoda.
Puppey has himself the Satyr Mind Stealer with the Mana Burn and the Mana Aura. Just have this big rotation trying to secure whatever they can. Here comes Yamich as well. There's the Laguna Blade over onto GPK, but there it is. There's a regen room, but immediately gonna get canceled out here. So they follow up over onto Yamich. Battery assault. Yeah, it's doing great.
And Yamich Zayats with an unusual miss there on his impale. Nice sidestep by GPK. Else he would have gone down there. If that connected, he was definitely dead.
Yeah, I thought that he had popped that regen right off the bat, but did wisely save it. So now he's back in lane. He's back pretty much at full health, full mana. It's like it didn't even happen.
Puppey with a deny on the bounty and no gold for you, Kola.
Bottom lane. I feel like poor Crystallis has not had much.
By far, I would say. So they're trying to organize moves together with this Tusk.
I'm really enjoying just seeing like how they're enabling GPK this time around. Crystallis finds an opening on the bottom lane on DM, but do have movement over here in the mid lane.
Good use of the Wukong there, and again, now they have level 6 on Zayats already on the Nyx Assassin, so he uses Vendetta immediately, looking to make a move towards mid.
They're prepared for this. They do have several sentries down, so they'll chase after Puppey and use the Hand of God. You see the teleports coming out immediately from the side of Secret. The glimpse play, though, coming in. We'll just send Crystallis back. Yamich taking a lot of damage. He's stuck over to the side, most likely going to fall here as Rezo stomps all over him. But they get the kill on Puppey, and they also had used the Hand of God during all of that.
Yeah, still good for VP, I think. There was big reactions forced, and they get even more kills, like we mentioned on Tusk. Top lane now, looking to make something happen with Primal Beast and Nyx.
Oh, nice play here with Zayats, using the Spike Carapace again with those glaive bounces. There's nothing that Ramses can do against that. So, paired up with Rezo, they'll be able to go take this tower thanks to the Chen army. Tough game for this Luna.
I can't believe we're going to see it again after last game when they pushed high ground there with Luna and got killed pretty much solo by the initiation, let's say. From Nyx, just doomed by Spike Carapace. We're gonna see it again, playing a carry that can get punished like this. So Zayats is probably very happy that his target is a little bit easier to kill than an average carry would be.
Reminds me vaguely of when every single game saw a Death Prophet and people started picking up Blade Mail to try to deal with the Exorcism. Because you just don't really have the control over, you know, where the ghosts are moving. Same thing with these glaives bouncing around, you know. The Nyx Assassin just such a solid choice against something like Elena.
Yeah, it's difficult. Nothing you can really do about it as Luna, as you said. So he just has to be mindful about his positioning, where he's farming. You see all of VP moving towards the bottom area. They want this tower, but they're being constantly scouted out by this Nyx, having that silent impact of just running around and keeping tabs of the enemy. So Crystallis is gonna back out in good time.
They also have a nice ward over here on the side, just spotting any sort of rotations. Yamich, though, need to be careful. Yeah, he walks right into the two heroes of Secret. Drop the Wukongs, and they'll be able to clean up. But while this is going down, they are also managing to take the tower from the side of Secret to even up that equilibrium.
Yeah, mid tower being forced a little bit, but they're bringing heroes over. Tusk wants to defend.
He actually went
for the choice of going for the Falcon Blade on Tusk before the Blink Dagger. It's actually quite a good item for Tusk. That 14 damage is not to be scoffed at when you have your crits from the Walrus Punch being 300% already.
You read my mind, Waga. I was literally about to ask, like, so it looks like they went for the Falcon Blade. What do you think of that? But you already answered my question before I said it. New Oracle?
Yeah, Oracle, let's go. Falcon Blade, though, is just a very popular item right now. A lot of heroes that we previously didn't see buy it are going for it, and it feels amazing to purchase, especially in tandem with the Soul Ring being nerfed in the same patch. That just led a lot of people to open their eyes to this item.
All right, well, 13 minutes in now, a 2K lead going to the side of Secret. And it feels like this time Ramses, you know, definitely slowed down. Bottom lane, though, the initiation over onto Zayats. It's already used that Spike Carapace, so he's not going to be able to survive this one. But it will allow for Crystallis to run away.
Again, trying to be cute with the Spike Carapace initiation, sitting under the creep wave, expecting the Decay to come out, but there was a sentry already. So the sentry made it that VP can just get the kill on him instead. Ooh, missed hook shot for Yamich.
You know, it was just to scare them away, sort of thing, you know? Show that this is our jungle. Get out of here.
Yeah, he displayed what he's capable of.
I mean, we've seen what he's capable of. He's can play very, very well on this Clockwork.
Secrets. They have a lot of creeps around mid from Chen and Lina with the right-click damage. They are thinking if they can bring down this tower, but so many players from VP are sitting around. It's a scary move to commit for this. Especially into Disruptor, because if you start to fight, you can't run away. You need to take that fight, because whoever backs out is going to get glimpsed. So they need to know that they're certainly strong enough. Smoke coming out from VP. Splitting up, though, going different ways.
And look at the ward coverage also here in this mid lane. They've got all the sentries down because they're not going to let themselves get jumped on by Zayas. In fact, the sentry just about took all, here in the top portion, but you can tell that they're really taking this Nyx Assassin's threat seriously. They don't want to have it where he gets the jump.
After last game, they better. I mean, he's definitely displayed. He's looking here to increase his win streak even further. He was already, what was it, 6-1 at the start of the day,
Yes.
panel said? 7-1 now, so he's looking to make it 8-1 in this game right now.
Now, important to note, the Blink Dagger is completed for GPK, so they've been enabling him quite a bit to make sure that he can get these items in good timing. I'd like to see them get aggressive. In fact, that's exactly what we're going to see happen as they smoke up over on the side of VP. No one available here in the jungle, though. Everyone seems to be playing top, but this will allow them to put down a little bit more vision.
Oh, Crystallis has to be careful. He's jumping around, but he's skittering around the vision of this ward. He realizes, pinging it even, that could be dangerous, so staying safe. It's actually just sneaking by, going completely outside of the vision, down to bottom lane.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
It's very scary when no one's showing on the map. Although Yamich does run into both Reza and Zayas over here. Goes for the hook shot over onto Zayas. We see the teleports, people making their way over now. GPK making his way over with that tag team with the blink forward. Oh my goodness. There's not even a corpse to be able to bring back.
Tusk relies on getting kills, and kills is what he's getting. He's 5-0-0 now, having a pretty fantastic start, and with his haste rune ready, he can farm top and be ready to respond quickly if something happens on mid lane as well.
Right now, both of the cores. Oh, mid lane. Hello, Yamich. You should just give it a couple clicks. Not going to be able to quite finish him off, though. Even dropping those Seeds of Serenity just in case.
It's cool to me that Nisha opted to go for the Spellcaster Lina in this game as well. So he's saying that, okay, Monkey King, you're going to be our physical damage dealer, and I'm going to add these items that allow me to magically burst people faster. This is better against Luna to be able to kill her fast, because she has so high armor as an agi carry. But this is not necessarily what we usually see from most Linas. A lot of the time, Linas still want to play that, you know, semi-carry role, but he's going full Spellcaster here. The blink.
Dire's middle
And immediately the D ward over here on the side.
Dire's structure.
If he didn't have that ward, he would be dead right now.
Would, and they find Clockwork immediately going and dropping the Static Storm. Nice hook shot from Yamich, buys him a bit more time. The Cogs, though, now still have the Pulverize, and they'll get this. Oh, they won't be able to save him, but they do manage the heal off as Rezo walks away from this. A little bit of a glimpse play, going right back again. They have a nice cheeky sentry ward over here on the side, but Ramses just wants to continue to farm up. Doesn't look to want to fight anymore at this
Deezer on
point.
top?
Double
DPK
damage.
didn't go and check it. He's not going to get that one. Would be really dangerous if he got his hands on that as a Tusk. But still, that was quite a bit of resources used for just a clock kill. And even expending the 9-second BKB on your Primal Beast. So I don't think VP are too unhappy about that. Sure, a teammate died, but it's just a level 7 Clockwork. Like, he's the lowest level on the field.
I thought for half a second he was going to survive that, but the Cogs just not going to be able to.
He got
Right.
grabbed through the cogs. It looked crazy. The Primal Beast had long arms there to actually use his ulti on him after he used cogs.
Sure, he does have pretty big arms for a dinosaur. comparatively to the Tyrannosaurus Rex with those itty-bitty baby arms. But TP's coming up to the top. They want to protect Crystallis. DPK opening up, Boundless, run through. Hookshot comes out from Yamich. The separation of the fight followed up with a snowball. Yamich, though, having difficulty staying alive over the back lines. They lose GPK, and this reaction coming out from Secret, just realizing that, you know, they were going to try to make a jump onto Crystallis, will yield them 2 kills.
Yeah, they have that top lane ward that hasn't been dewarded for Secret, and that gives some crucial vision there, so they're able to bring a lot of heroes over and effectively bait this with their Monkey King.
Yeah, look how fast this Roche is just absolutely melting.
So much of that is just Chen, honestly, helping out. Like, his army does quite a bit of damage in this.
I feel like we don't give the creeps enough credit a lot of the times. They're so used to, you know, thinking that they're kind of weak in the jungle and we just go and kill them all. But when you add them onto your Chen, they can be quite formidable and give you some really nice boons, as we saw earlier with some of those auras and whatnot.
They all have that bonus damage as well. So they bring down Aegis really quick there due to the bait that they get top. So again, similar to first game, they have the security now from Crystallis.
Go for the dust, the static storm, but that Carapace. Rezo running into this over here. They will get the glimpse off as a beautiful impale going over onto GPK and DM. And the teleport's coming out now from Crystallis, so they need to get the heck out of there. Looks like he's not going to commit.
And again, VP are the ones like, okay, your carry canceled TP. Now we're chasing again. Going in, trying to get vision. GPK.
Oh, they see Rezo with that rocket flare. Curious to see if they're going to make this rotation down. Yeah, they smoke up. They want to defend it. They want to see if they can get a wraparound play over on VP. Crystallis leading the charge.
I'd like to say VP playing more under their wards than they did in the last game. Last game they went for a lot of aggressive moves that they didn't really have vision into, but there they sat back a little bit and tried to stay on their observer ward. They're going to forfeit the area now, so it might get dewarded, but overall it feels like Secret have been a little bit more diligent about playing where they have vision, and I think that was part of the downfall for VP in the last game.
Spotting a Hakoda here. GPK is nearby. Just a little cheeky slap.
Yeah,
no hard
not
committal.
really gonna hard commit for something there. He did disassemble his Echo Saber to get the BKB on Crystallis, so having Aegis and BKB, he can make really aggressive moves, but on his own, he probably doesn't have the damage really to fast burst anyone.
Yamish realizing Zayats is over here. They are going to get that BKB delivered to Luna very soon, but the stomp will ensure that the clockwork ends up dying. There's the BKB, though, now for Ramsey, so we're able to delay that gank, and he was able to pick up that item, because that is a huge power spike for the side of AP. Uh-oh. Hakoda?
Yeah.
They're coming. I think you can hear the Jaws music from here.
Pretty much, but he is gonna run away again. He's speedy with that Tranquil Boots upgrades. He's no poor Brown Boots disruptor, though he is going for the Aghanim's Rush in this game. He wants to get that early. We see him go for different builds, different games. Hakoda just adapting to what he thinks is best for the game he's playing.
All
Smoke
right,
now coming in.
I think they got the Deso online now for the Tusk. They've got BKB on Luna. This is the time they can get a pick off. They have to be aware. Black King Bar is still available over onto Rezo, so they're going to have to stun lock him and pick him. And yeah, he just immediately pops. Follow up here from Crystallis over onto GPK. They pick up the Luna. They just start shaking her around in circles. Going for the little bit of the save. The snowball going over here onto Puppy. It's doing a lot. Hand of God comes out. They'll lose damage. They'll end up losing Puppy, though, thanks to that nice snowball coming in hot. As now they'll turn their attention over to Ramsey. He manages to dodge with the Manta. And just like that, that whole fight is over.
Kita mo yun?
He's not safe yet though. Nisha is chasing. He's looking for him.
Oh, Nisha coming around the corner of the
Yun ang mas
Laguna,
magaling.
and that is a kill for Nisha.
Yeah, making good use of the Boots of Travels there. Travels down to bottom lane, comes in with the Ether Lens cast range to mid lane. They might go on GPK.
Oh, GPK. They are definitely going on GPK right underneath the tower. Such insult, as they just do not care. Rest of the Gen armies here. They'll even get a kill on the courier.
Middle tower is under attack.
Just feels like when you have something like this Primal Beast, and especially the way that Rezo plays, right? It's just always in your face. And it's very difficult to bring him down because he's quite tanky.
Yeah, he really is. They also failed to chain stun him when they initially went on him. They blinked in, they Tusk Punch, but they didn't get the snowballs done right after the Tusk Punch. So he was actually able to pop the BKB early and live long enough there in that fight. And yeah, he, like you said, with the armor of Uproar and then BKB Magic Immunity, he is not that easy to bring down, so you have to stop the BKB.
This always seems
Now
like he's...
have Hagenim's Lina. This is fun to watch.
Alright. That's the Flame Cloak that did get changed around recently for those viewers who haven't had the chance to see it just yet.
Yeah, so you can fly for 6 seconds to take 35% less magic damage, and you have 30% spell amp. And of course that flying mobility. He's under a ward now though, he has to be careful.
There are 4 here. Ooh, that hook shot. LSA, oh my god, DSM just...
That's the
DM
cloak.
just disappears there completely. Static Storm is going to come to play over Chrysalis. Does have the BKB. It's going to be the Walrus Punch. End up losing Zayas Coda next to fall. Ramsey's just, or sorry, Resolution just stomping all over them. Ramsey's going to be able to slow them down though. Throws out that hit. But GPK is just getting so slowed down. Too much damage coming out from Nisha on the other side. Yamich teleporting away.
Yeah, Secret are just handily in control of this. They're definitely strong. It's fine, losing sucks, but what are you going
That's
to
a
do?
great
Life
voice
goes
line.
on.
Oh my god.
Hitting
Appropriate.
them with that right now? Damn.
That's cold.
That's a good voice
Nice, ang
line for
panalo
this.
na lahat, TA na.
Calculated, right? They're waiting for this moment. They're like, yeah, we got to put that voice line in so that way.
Yeah, they were prepared. The long con. Yeah, there we see the hook shot that was really close to landing. And then the chase, they just bring them down.
One hit eh.
This Lina and her damage. In the game though, we have a crucial position here. They're kind of
We do.
looking for an opening.
Ramsey's leading the charge.
Yeah, high ground vision.
They're looking over at DM too. Yeah, there it is. The Impale, the Laguna over onto the Sport. He just does not exist. There's the follow-up though. Handicap coming into play. Chrysalis just giving these clicks off, and all the BKBs getting popped, trying to just survive. They'll take down the tube over on the side. The hook shot out from Yamich, because they just want to get out of here as soon as possible.
Yeah, they're gonna try and scramble. They get out, but this is an impossible game to survive. Wow. Blink in with the death stroke. Chases for more.
Oh
Yeah.
god. All right. GPK, he is just in.
It was a one-way ticket. He went in for the kill. He saw him under the vision. Blinked in, decided to get the burst over on Nyx. Man, the mid laners are bullying the supports in this game. But he knew. He overcommitted and tried to survive with a snowball. No way to get out, though.
Nisha is goddamn terrifying, though. Like, as a support, how do you survive against this Lina that's got all this burst damage? He's got the Aether Lens on top of that, so you've got just so much going on. Like, you can't hide from this Lina. Just always gonna be in the Psychic Headband. Oh my god.
Even more range. He's going to do a lot of damage. And he hasn't even hit the power spike yet of level 20. Gets 11% more spell amp, so he's going to have his 8% from the Kaya. He's going to have the 30% from the Aghanims, and then the 11% there. This is so exciting to me because I really like watching Spellcaster Lina, and it's kind of rare that we see it being played in this way in competitive.
Oh, Yamich, he just wanders on through. Yeah, and this time he's just like, I've got enough kills. You can have this one.
Yeah, saving the mana. Doesn't want to waste 450 to get that kill.
I know it's efficiency, but the way you say that makes it sound so BM, like you're not even worth the mana.
Oh, top. That's a lot of skeletons.
GPK, all right, the snowball, immediately dodging away from Rezo. It's gonna blink out, and the TP's come in. Nice glimpse back from Pagoda, but the BKB is already up and running, and they just pick up GPK. They just shake him around. The Luna just melts so far back and away from Nisha, and they'll kill GPK. They've had enough. They just call GG. Team Secret is in TI form. They are going to the International. There's no way Puppy's missing one of these.
Wow, that is big. Puppy is once again secured for TI. He is going. Look at the boys.
So
Look how happy they are. Man, I mean, he's a TI legend. He really is, Puppy, and you got to give it to him and his entire team here. They played some really good Dota. You can see the relief on the players now as they managed to secure themselves immediately here. Start of the day, 2-0. And that's going to make it all the rougher here for VP. They have to go down into the lower bracket. Still have a chance, though, to qualify. But yeah, that's the first team. And Resta looking satisfied, too.
Oh, of course. I mean, you saw he must have had so much fun that game. Every time you look, there was just this big primal beast running out of Luna, stomping down on someone. But yeah, this team looks to be in excellent form. They're looking very, very scary, and you know they've had all this time to play against all these other teams. So like it almost feels like a great warm up before they hit those group stages, and you know they've got their eyes on the prize here coming up for this international.
It's so contagious, the happiness that you see from a team when they win a big game like this, a qualifying game to TI. Like, just watching all the smiles on their faces, it just feels good. But they performed really, really good here. Game 2 was not even close. Game 1 was a battle that they won. There were many moments where VP put up a good fight, but Game 2, despite the best efforts here of Virtus Pro, it felt like Team Secret were just slightly more cohesive. They were really on point with what they wanted to do. We saw the bursts at the start of every single fight too. After that Aghanim's was purchased by Lina, she was deleting heroes left and right, even getting the burst on Ramses in the last fight there, and they just call it.
Yeah, there was just not too much that at that point Virtus Pro could do. It was insane just watching, you know, these Laguna Blades being tossed out with those spell lamps that we saw, and he's doing an amazing job. We just had some incredible play coming out from Team Secret. I'm super excited to see how well they're going to perform going into this TI and VP. They'll have another chance to see if they can make it in. But today, the victory right now goes to the side of Team Secret.
Thank you so much, Moxie and Waga. And I mean, Team Secret, they showed up. They knew that they wanted to win this. They wanted to make it all the way to TI 11, and that is what they've done. And that game 2 just proves it. Secret are looking in fine form. One of those last picks really coming out that we thought might have had some potential to do something, Kezu, was the Tusk on the side of Virtus Pro. But unfortunately, it just felt like as we got into the later games, there wasn't really too much more that it could do.
I feel like, again, VP were doing fine early. Ramses is top of the net worth chart, and yeah, sure, the Tusk can do well later, but I feel like they never really got to it, like, at all.
Yeah, and then another matchup that happened is the Luna and Primal Beast one fear, which you definitely highlighted throughout the draft.
Yeah, I mean, I was a little questioning. It seems like VP, they just seem like a preset strategy of theirs. I don't find Luna to be like the best hero against Primal Beast. You don't have a way to disengage, so the best thing to do against Primal
Yay.
This counts. You see something on it? Thanks.
The spyglass at hand.
Who's laughing now? Who's listening then?
I
This one's crazy and I am. Walks towards the dark.
Radiant's courier just drowned in a pool of
Keep your
blood.
heads up. Mister!
Tapos na, panalo na ang Team Secret.
How do you think I'm so fast?
Lower bracket na lang kayo ni
The woods will always want.
Manalo ang Liquid. Liquid.
Twice the speed of sound.
Let's skip to the good stuff.
October 15, Lordan. October 15.
Torn, meat torn from blood and bone.
Radiant's bottom tower is staggering.
Like a drunk Radiant think fortification should
Radiant's bottom
save
tower
them.
faces a stiff wind and a storm. Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Radiant's bottom tower faces a stiff wind. Radiant's bottom tower has rung its last bell.
Invisibility.
Yes.
Life to the thing. Dyer's top tower is under attack. Coin for me.
Ano oras ba simula nito? Ba't wala nakalagay? 20. Talo yung prediction ko ah. Mati ay ah. Okay, mamaya ulit. Salamat.